know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits. Excuse me, I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me. The crash came when the cash came. Spend it before you get it like those rookies all on draft day. For the love like it's match game. Hit the ground running, really do it for my last name. They act different when the facts change. I'm not with the tip for tag games. In my own league, I don't chase game. In my own league, I don't hang with lanes. I know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits. Excuse me, I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me. Now how could that be? Talking about who can be talking about me. Feeling like Stretch where I got all this reach. Feeling too blessed when I step on these beats. Now how could that be? I could beat the pressure, I could beat the 2-3. Jab, jab, hook, then I duck and I weave. It was never you, it was me versus me. I know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits. Excuse me, I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me. Better up, get some, swinging for the fences, I might leave it in the sun. Every pitch a home run. Stack a couple tickets just to leave it to my son. Take it back while I be gone. Small city kid, couldn't dream a bigger one. A marathon, never run. Check the scoreboard, how I'm feeling like I won. I know I've been quiet for a minute, I've been grinding, still in it, I've been counting these digits. Excuse me, I know I've been quiet for a minute, but I'm back on my business. If you see me, don't trip, just excuse me. Wrong if I do, wrong if I don't. That's why I do me no matter what, so excuse me. Lie if I do, lie if I don't. The proof is in the story, take a seat and excuse me.
At some point we all gotta come together. No. Everybody got opinions, let's talk about it. Communication is key, let's build around it. We do this for the people found it. Black love, stay strong, no way around it. We anti-genocide, we ride for the cause. Got love for our sisters, and love for our dogs. Respect the young and elderly, you all been invited to be inspired. Come together, better got violent. Gotta watch for the cops, gotta watch for the ops, gotta watch for the politicians that play with the eyes. If you know, then you know. Plant the seed and it grows. Welcome to the show. This is what we know. 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 Yeah. This is what we know.
Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. We're in the building. Yes, sir. It's your homeboy, DJ JT. Yes, sir. Testing, 1, 2. Yes, sir. This mic is on. This mic is definitely on. Most definitely, man. People will be trickling in a little bit, but guess what, y'all? We got another show this Wednesday. This is a absolutely banger right now. Later on, I definitely will be putting the link out. If someone wants to come up on the up here with me, you can definitely come up. Once I put that link out, man, it's going to be definitely a good conversation. But we definitely are going to get deep into it. I got a couple of videos that I want to share with you guys, have conversation, and we'll definitely go ahead and get this popping. Let me see something right quick. Let me make sure I'm showing on both simulcasts, Black Man Unfiltered and What We Know. Most definitely, we are live over there. Let me make sure I can hear myself over there. Let's see. Okay, yep. We good to go. Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's been a long time. Sorry I left you. Ah, man. Got a lot of shit to talk about, man. You see the title? Crack era babies have ruined the community. Yeah. That's crazy, ain't it? It's a good it's a good title. Is that true though? Was it the crack era babies that have ruined the community? You know who the crack era babies are, right? That's the millennials. So if you was born after 1980, that title was talking to you. That title's talking to your ass. If you anything after 1996, you a Z. I think we're still with the Z's right now. If you're after 1964, you're an X. That's my generation, X. Anything before that, 1963 all the way down to, I think, 1945 or something like that, that would be baby boomers. And then we have what they call the silent generation. I guess all generations after that is the silent generation. But we have these conversations and we talk about this stuff, man, where it gets to a point where people be blaming one generation after the next. When in actuality, every generation is responsible for the generation that comes after them. That's just what it is. And by happenstance, the generation that comes after them at some point in their life are responsible for that generation that took care of them too. I mean this by saying we as parents, at some point, God willing, will be old, weak, and weary. That's just what it is. What's going on, Braxton? Glad you came through, homie. Anybody else that's in here, that's in the chat, y'all go ahead and make yourself be known. I'll shout you out. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, JC? What's popping with you? You say our pain is in the generation before the silent generation. He had rims on stage coaches. Man, if he heard that right there, he might be listening. He might be already listening. What's going on, JC, man? What's going on, Braxton? But yeah, man, this whole thing about us arguing over what generation is the worst generation, it's good for conversation, but in all actuality, like I said, the way that it's supposed to go is that the generation that's before any of the other generations was responsible at a certain time. You know what I'm saying? Braxton, you crazy. The lost generations is 1883 to 1900. Y'all, you wilding right now, homie. You wilding. You say your parents, let me put it up here. You say, my parents are boomers. My parents are the great parents. The great grandparents are in between the greatest generation and the silent generation. And they say it's the greatest generation, but every generation had great things and terrible things that went on in those generations. It's just what it is in life. You know what I'm saying? Braxton, how old are your parents? That I'm interested in that. Were your parents like 30 years, more than 30 years older than you? Or were your parents kind of like 24 to 16 years older than you? That's interesting. But when we do talk about the generations, y'all, I'm telling you, it's at some point we just have to have the real conversation. A lot of this stuff is documented, and I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about what I mean about the generations, because there's generations, like when we talk to you guys in my generation, I'm a 70s baby. So my generation is, we still out here. You know what I'm saying? We still out here doing our thing. I'm a Generation X. What's going on is that, Know the War 777. Shout out to Generation Z. Shout out to them. Shout out to all the generations, man. Especially the Z's right now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the alphas. My grandson he's an alpha now. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me because I have a daughter that's Generation Z, and she graduated from college last year. Last May, she graduated from college, and now she's going to get her master's. And that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. What you say, Braxton? For real, sir, I looked up the chart. Huh? Oh, yeah, okay. What's going on, baby? What's happening? El Cheapo is in the building. What's going on, girl? And happy Wednesday to you. Happy Wednesday to you. Okay, Braxton also said, nah, sir, they've been around a little bit longer than that. They graduated high school in the 70s. My mother is 65 and my dad is 67 and 68. Yeah, so let me tell you, so your parents, they are on generation baby boomers, right? They're baby boomers, but they're kind of like on the cusp of the baby boom. They were the younger baby boomers. I'm gonna tell you just from the way that I look at it. I remember like when your parents' generation, like I got uncles that's their age, right there where they're at, and I just remember them being teenagers. That tell you how old I am. I remember them being teenagers when they were somebody's kids. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's crazy. So your parents, compared to my parents, are like they would be the younger generation to them, kind of like that within the baby boomers generation. It's a weird way because there's a lot of them too. Me and my mother was talking about that too, and I was just saying, baby boomers were literally, that's the reason why they got the name baby boomers. That's the reason why they're baby boomers, because it was a lot of them in the United States. And think about that. When you talk about baby boomers, why was it so many of them? It was marketed to them, to their parents, to have a lot of kids. It was marketed to them. And it was a lot of them. Reason being was because there was a lot of them being killed off. That's white and black. A whole bunch of them were being killed off. That's why when you get to my generation ended up having, one child, two child, you know what I'm saying? Having 4 children, that's a huge family. That's what you call a huge family. But my parents, and I don't know, Braxton, your parents, if they had like a lot of siblings, but I know my parents, both of them, 9 apiece, 10 apiece. I think it's 10 my father and 9 my mom, or 8 siblings that she had. You know what I'm saying? My man, Mandrell in the building, boy. Where you been, Mandrell? Where the hell you been? Trey Fairway? That's what you calling yourself now? What's going on, man? What's going on to my brothers, man? Salute to both of y'all, man. Salute to both of y'all. So basically, man, what I want to do is I'm definitely going to drop the link, but I do want to get started with this malarkey that I'm about to start showing folks. But the reason why I'm talking about generations right now is for the simple fact that this first video that I'm going to show you guys is based off of kind of like gang culture, but it's gang culture in Detroit. And this was during a time where nobody knew what a Blood or a Crip was. My man Lost, what's going on with your boy? Nobody knew. If you was on the East Coast, you didn't know too much about Bloods and Crips and stuff like that until like the 80s and then the 90s and stuff like that. But everybody else had their little crews and gangs and stuff like that, and it wasn't Bloods and Crips. Like a lot of people, when they think of gangs now, the first thing that come to their mind is Bloods and Crips. Bloods and Crips was not as nationwide as they are right now. And gang affiliation and gang being in gangs was more of a survival thing in the 70s and the 60s. And then it just turned into some other shit. And it's because of greed. It's because of a lot of other things. Then people started really killing one another. And, you know, once you start opening up Pandora's box, then it just don't stop. And it goes to the point of where we at right now. But it brings me to a point of this whole thing of what generation started what and all that crazy ass shit. It sounds crazy. It sounds just as asinine as when we talk about women and men. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I want to do is I'm going to bring it up a little current after this, but I'm going to show you guys a little bit on kind of like I guess we can consider ourselves Midwest and East, more the mid, but this is what happened in like the 70s and the 80s, where we had a crew called YBI. They was just as powerful as what you guys see the Bloods and Crips were and things like that. I don't think that they had the culture in the sense that Bloods and Crips had it, because Bloods and Crips, they were damn near organized gangsters, man. It was something totally different. Even when you see now, if you look at some of these documentaries, man, it'll blow your mind to see 60-year-olds that still think about that. What's going on, Tommy, man? What's popping with you? Tommy, yeah, you probably want to stay over here for a little bit, man. Because the thing is not about gangs and all of that. It's actually about the worth of men right now. The shit is kind of fucked up right now. We went so far, man. We done got so far into now everybody looking at black men as being a poster child for homosexuality. And, you know, it was either that or us being gangsters and shit like that. And nobody actually looks at the regular dude when you start talking about this whole thing of holding somebody up. So I just wanted to get a chance to put some of this stuff out here and just to show y'all. And Tommy, watch this. This is some crazy shit. You probably know, well, not probably, you do know a lot about gang culture in California. But a lot of people, they do ask me about the gang culture that's over in Detroit, right? So most people that actually understood the gang culture in Detroit was actually probably gangsters and dope dealers and stuff like that. A lot of people don't know a whole lot about Detroit. And the craziest part is that Detroit was always in the middle of all of this shit. Texas, California, Florida. Like this was before BMF actually was rocking. You know what I'm saying? So it'll show you how BMF actually became BMF. But let me go ahead and start this thing out. You crazy, really? I seen that video you did too, doing sign language. Your ass was out there. You was low key doing gang signs. Quit playing with yourself, man. Braxton says, on my dad's side, he was a number of siblings, but as far as my mom, since she never knew or seen her father, we're not sure. Okay, I understand that. Most definitely. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this video right quick, man. Let's go.
So I'm going to cut to you, Ray J.
Wrong one. I went too damn far. So this is a thing about that's the other one that I was going to tell you. YBI, Young Boys Incorporated. This particular one is about a guy named McGirt, Kurt McGirt. His name used to ring through the Detroit streets all the time, even with kids. They didn't even know who Kurt McGirt was, but he was a very young gangster, very young. And then you would just hear guys in here talk about the culture of Detroit's kind of like the gang, one of the biggest gangs that was in there. Let's go.
When this guy was not old enough to buy a pack of cigarettes legally, Detroit police and the mayor labeled him public enemy number one. So you got to think about how is a kid, which is what he was, public enemy number one. No matter what he may or may not have been doing, who were the adults? The police, the political powers.
Police officials say Young Boys Incorporated, as his gang was known, controlled 80% of the heroin traffic in Detroit. The gang was also implicated in 68 homicides. Butch, how did a young guy get into Young Boys Incorporated? What was the procedure?
Well, basically, if you weren't from this neighborhood and you want...
So this guy name is Butch. He was the head. He was one of the guys that actually started Young Boys Incorporated. This is the guy that they had, that they were talking about. Very, very feared in Detroit. Very feared. Let's go. What's going on, Fitness Vision? What's popping with you?
You wanted to be down, you had to get somebody to sponsor you. In other words, somebody had to vouch for you that you was a stand-up guy, other meaning that you wouldn't tell if you got caught.
Young Boys Incorporated are the guys that made selling drugs hip and made killing people okay. This is the analysis of Dr. Carl Taylor, a sociologist from Michigan State, about the infamous YBI, who you might be familiar with from the BMF show as having inspired Big Meat and Southwest Tea when they were growing up in early 80s Detroit.
The kids work in teams, one collecting the money, another delivering the dope, others acting as lookouts, and all are decoys for one another. And when a lookout throws a signal, a busy street can become deserted in a matter of seconds. That way, a cruising police officer sees nothing.
I got arrested in December 1983, December 13, 1983.
Tell us what was going through your head when you were taken into that courtroom. And of course, as we're going to get into, you know, the way the newspaper article is written is that I guess you were supposedly or somebody threatening the judge and they had to take you in the basement, but and there was a letter supposedly written by you threatening the mayor, but at the time you couldn't read or write, correct?
No, I couldn't read or write.
So what was going on in your mind when this was happening?
Well, basically it was like, why was they targeting me?
These dudes was like 15 years old, homie. Look at that Benz. That shit was unheard of during that time when these guys, very young guys, man. It's where Young Boys Incorporated, but you're going to understand a little bit more. Let me keep going.
So I'm just trying to figure out what was really going on.
And you were what age at this time?
I was 17, just turned 18.
So all this mythology about you that supposedly did or didn't happen at all was just in a space of what, you being 13 to 18 or something?
It wasn't about 2-3 years.
What's going on, Andre?
It's really not even possible for all the things attributed to you to even have happened in that short period of time.
To make me public enemy number one?
I can't stress to you how kind of unbelievable it is that I was able to interview him in the early 80s when he was just 16 and 17. He was plastered all over the Detroit newspapers as public enemy number one, as declared by the mayor of Detroit and the chief of police. Think about that, a 17-year-old, he ended up doing about almost, I think, 30 years in prison.
Little guy named Kendricks was a rat long time ago. So if he was a rat long time ago, why would I want to do something to him? He wasn't nobody. He was just a guy that was out here just like everybody else, you know, trying to be in the streets. And when it came down to it, he told. You know, he lied and told, which that's what a lot of people's doing now. They lying and telling. That was on the east side.
Oh, was that Joseph Brown?
Yeah.
So that's a case where you were telling me that the police fed
one of their witnesses to say it was my name.
So he supposedly made a deathbed.
Hey, Catellia, how you doing, sweetie?
He's coughing and he's dying, and he says.
And the police told him to say.
Mohawk did.
Yeah.
So
Mohawk.
again, they're trying to, and that wasn't even his name.
No, it wasn't his name.
Yeah, it wasn't even the right nickname. And his legend, as you'll come to see in this interview, maybe some of the things about him weren't true, but when I was
What's going on, black man?
The county jail in Detroit and maximum security, 10 years after he went to jail, every day someone said his name, they claimed he shot them, he killed their brother. He couldn't have did all the things people said.
Once I found out that it was them polices over there, I knew then it was something else behind it.
It wasn't really even an attempted murder. He got shot
in the butt.
Right here on St. Antoine.
Yeah. He said I chased him down the street and everything, but you know, I ain't do none of that. They kept him in 1300 for 2 years while I was going to trial.
Oh, they kept him in 1300 Bobian?
Yeah,
oh,
they kept him in 13. Yeah, they kept him over there until I went to trial.
Oh, to force him
to tell on me because they violated his probation to testify on me.
Now, 1300 Bobian, it still is the jail. That jail that they just showed, that's what we call the big house. If you get sentenced to jail and you don't go to prison, that's where your ass is gonna stay for a year plus. And it's still the same way. It looks the same way. The shit ain't never been upgraded. And to this day, motherfuckers be in that jail cell. So if you ever get booked and you get convicted, that's where your ass go.
On the 9th floor.
Oh, the 9th floor is pretty goddamn uncomfortable.
Well, it's uncomfortable to those who don't want to be there.
Right there.
You know,
they made him
rats want to be there. You know, people who telling, that's where they want to be. They don't want to be in population with everybody else.
FBI figures show Detroit with 61 murders for every 100,000 citizens last year. Gary, Indiana was second, and other major cities ran far behind.
Where else but Detroit?
In the years of just 80, 81, 82, there was, 1,800 murders in Detroit. So how were you
responsible for any of them?
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you understand what he just said? It's the 80s, y'all. 1,800 murders. 1 year, 1,800 murders, dog. That's crazy. And he was responsible for all of them. What they're telling you right now is that this guy right here is, for one, absolutely, and he's still living right now. And at that time of the interview, I think he had just got out of prison. So he spent all of his adulthood, I think from the age of 18 till whatever age he is right there in prison. Like, you will see him now, he looked like a regular dude. But this dude right here, from the age of 15, was probably one of the most feared. Like, when you hear what they got these little young dudes right now, and they're 14, you know, some of them probably 13, 15, whatever. And people are saying that, you know, these motherfuckers are getting younger and younger, and they being more bolder, and they got the switch and all of this crazy ass shit, walking around with the Pushites. That's crazy that people they call it Pushite mask. And like, this is some new shit. And this is why I have to show this right here. It's not. Young Boys Incorporated is a huge, and I have no idea, y'all, why they never came out with the movie. We got a couple of this is the closest we come to the documentaries. Nobody is talking because there's a lot of people that are still living. Even the ones that were young dudes at that time, man, that shit, it fucked them up. Mentally, it fucked them up. And they're now, you know, damn near 60 years old. Some of them are 60 years old now. And if they got a chance to talk to these dudes, man, I have no idea why they haven't talked to these guys yet. You talk about BMF. BMF they don't have the story that YBI got. Ask anybody in Detroit that's my age or older, that's around my age and older, they'll tell you, BMF, they didn't have the impact YBI had. That guy right there was feared as a 15-year-old, my guy. And he was one of many that was out there. Let's keep going.
No, I don't know. I don't know why they get a count or like that. I don't know what's going on.
Of young hoodlums or old hoodlums, black thugs or white thugs.
This guy right here, if you guys don't know, was our mayor. This was Mayor Coleman Young. This guy was very powerful. Mayor Coleman Young he stayed the mayor until he died. He was the mayor for a very long time in Detroit. That man stayed the mayor until he died. And if you know anything about the politics in Detroit, I'm gonna tell you right now, he was nothing to fuck with. Look up Mayor Coleman Young, and you will see what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Take this goddamn city over.
What age did you get
What's going on, Mo Love?
involved with YBI and how did that happen?
Probably about 13, 14.
Raymond, Chuck, Wayne, Bone Man, them the guys. Okay, we all together. Everybody together.
It's another guy right here. He about to tell y'all the story also. Another dude that was feared. You see how he dressed? He got his shit to the side. This motherfucker is... And keep in mind that most of these guys is just getting out of prison, man, at the time of this interview. So all of their adult life was behind bars. But just listen to what they're telling you.
And everybody got their little crews though.
We wasn't all wild like that. You know, we got a bad rep. We wasn't all wild like that. But if you got a line, we gave it to you.
Just hanging out, trying to figure out something. You know what I'm saying? We was, back then, before they put the label on us, Young Boys Incorporated, we was Martindale Maniacs. You know what I'm saying? We never really claimed that gang kind of bullshit. We just would stump a motherfucker from the police or whoever. We started eliminating all these old motherfuckers sitting up behind the door slanging shit, right? Get the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Too many of us for y'all to deal with. They start bagging out, moving on, whatever. You know, little minor beefs or whatever. So we got this neighborhood on lock.
How would you or the other young guys...
Look at that shit right there. Now, let me tell you where they at right there. It's a place called Cobo Hall. Joe Louis Arena. They was right next to each other downtown Detroit. This is where you had the auto shows. This is where you had, people. Detroit, the way it looked right now, it didn't look like that back then. Back then, Detroit, it looked ashy. Looked like it needed some lotion, man. Downtown Detroit, right now, the shit is getting close to looking like Chicago. If you ain't never seen downtown Chicago, though, it's out cold. It's out cold. So this is where they at. Now look what this guy have on. Army fatigues. Look how young they were. But nobody talking to them. Motherfuckers wasn't fucking with them young niggas at all. So these young niggas that they got, them young niggas can fight. These young niggas, all they gonna do is shoot. That's all they gonna do. But watch what he say, y'all. Just pay attention to the words he's saying.
Be paid? Was it a weekly salary?
No, not. At first, it started off like that, but with some of us, it was like our own.
That boy was 15 at that time. He's about 66, 65, something like that. I don't know, but he in the 60s now.
ATM machine on the block.
Meaning?
The spot is our ATM machine.
You just go and get money?
Get money if we need it. Show up, I need this, run that. You know what I mean?
Sources tell me the adult drug dealer will give his young runners all the protection money can buy.
A lot of the bigger dope men, they make it a practice of letting them know if they take care of the heroin sales on the street, or if they're a good worker, that they'll come to their rescue anytime they get in any trouble with the police or get caught with heroin on the street.
As a result, Young Boys Incorporated has expanded into Pontiac, where police say the group...
So the phenomenon of YBI became gigantic. People may have been using the name. They were only tangentially associated in there, but there definitely were multiple groups of guys who splintered off from the original group. Some people trying to make Kurt McGirt the fall guy. A letter was sent to the mayor threatening the mayor's life, and I think the chief of police's life, signed Kurt McGirt, but he was 17 and couldn't read or write when he went to prison, so he didn't write that letter. So who did? Somebody who wanted him out the way.
9 years old. You lived in the neighborhood, you were going to be pressured into it, or families, it was not uncommon for families to move their kids out, their young men out of the neighborhoods because of the pressures were just too demanding on them.
Are you talking about that, Braxton? You talk about this video right here? This was in the 80s, homie. This was in the 80s. Now, the guy, the documentary itself, now this was done in the 2000s. He's just getting a chance. I can't remember my man's name, but he was affiliated in the streets also. So he's definitely solidified in Detroit, because if not, he couldn't have been talking about what he's talking about right now or doing the documentary the way he's doing it. So they done gave this guy a pass, man. I'll get his name in a minute, but he's doing a lot of documentaries on the street life in Detroit, and he has been associated with it also.
Basically, I let a guy know that we was rolling and that we was serious. And I was like, look, this
guy right here, name is Butch. I can't remember his last name. It'll come up to me, but this is the guy that actually started Young Boys Incorporated. The reason why they came up with Young Boys Incorporated was because they were saying it a little bit. When you were a minor during that time, you couldn't be charged as an adult. They didn't have that law yet. That was one of the reasons why they had to put a law up under certain circumstances where a minor can be charged as an adult now because of that. It was because of things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, YBI was a Detroit thing. So they associated themselves with Bloods and Crips and things like that when they was doing dope and stuff like that, when they were transferring it to California. That was the only way I knew anything about it, as, you know, before they had the movie Colors come out, before they had anybody talking about it. I just remember I had family members that always talked about it. So that guy that you guys looking at right now, he was responsible for these guys, young men, doing the things that they did. And the thinking was, if you get caught, they're going to have to let you out. Only thing that's going to happen is that your parents come get you and then you can go. You ain't going to have nothing. You don't have to get an expungement. You ain't got to get none of that stuff when you get grown. But as long as you are a minor, I get you to run for me. You make a lot of money. And if you get caught, we're going to get you up out of there. And that was the thinking. However, it did backfire on a whole bunch of people. Let's go.
Ain't no nickel and dime operation. This ain't the Boy Scouts or nothing like that. This is serious, and if you serious about getting some money, I'm serious about getting some money.
By the end, he had...
Hey, Tommy, it wasn't even like that in Detroit. You was out by nighttime. Only thing had to happen, if you was 17, under 18, your parents come get you and you gone. The only thing that'll happen is that you would go to juvenile, but not at no 20. You ain't getting out at 25. You actually, you be out of there, bro, before your 18th birthday. Then now it's like that, but it wasn't like that back then. That was the reason why they was using the young dudes like that, though.
Falling out with Butch Jones, the guy whose name he's not saying on there, whose guy he had been originally, and supposedly he was shooting at Butch Jones's people. That's what was said on the street in the newspaper. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Butch Jones was much older than everybody. He was like
that's his name, Butch Jones. Butch Jones. There's another documentary, but I'll probably get into that on another show, actually showing you guys YBI, the whole thing that goes down with the YBI. But that's not my mission tonight. But let's keep going.
Pied Piper, and the young people were scared of him. No, Courtney Brown Jr. told me nobody over 21 in Detroit was scared of Butch Jones. I mean, he meant no gangsters over 21. I don't know how true that was, but Butch Jones, like all predators, knows who to pick on.
Before the first indictment of Young Boys, Detroit was second only to New York for the consumption of heroin, and they literally took over. That was the precursor for street sales in the United States. It originated here in Detroit.
Okay, we're here on the corner of Selden and Gibson, and back circa 1980, 81 or so, in the wintertime like we are now, there were 20.
People used to ask me when I used to come on channels and I say something about like a Max Julian or something like that. That what my man got on right now, that is an upgraded Max Julian. It's a little bit different, but that is the Max Julian that he has on right there. It didn't look that good, you know, but when we were kids, I have to show you guys the picture. And Max Julian's, there were so many young folks, man, getting their life taken for those jackets, man. Those jackets was only like $85 back then. I guess that was a lot of money back then, but everybody that was, you know, brave anyway, they wore Max Julians. And you got that shit checked in if your ass didn't know nobody.
2 shootings in just a period of about 2 weeks, just right on this intersection. And why was that? Well, today there's new developments around here. This has all gone up. New casino down the street, but this was the infamous Jeffries public housing project. Been torn down and replaced. But back then, it was one of Detroit's most valuable drug properties, and YBI and Pony Down and others were shooting each other over who got to sell. They were shooting customers.
It's another group, and I think next week I'm gonna do it. There's another group called Pony Down. Pony Down. Hopefully I can get me some guys that actually was dealing with this. Is all pre-BMF. All of this is pre-BMF. This is actually when you looking at all of this stuff. Pony Down, YBI, they were rivals. As a kid, I probably was about 7, 8 years old. So, you know, as kids, we used to just say crazy shit. Pony Down. You know, you had a lot of people say that shit. And YBI, and then when we got older, we knew better. You just don't say that shit. That shit was not good if you was like a teenager or something like that. But let's keep going, man. Yeah, but keep in mind, Pony Down was another one of those groups. It was like Bloods and Crips were rivals. Pony Down and YBI, Young Boys Incorporated, they were rivals. And that's how that looked.
Customers, if they bought from the wrong people, and Doc Davis and his brothers were supplying both Pony Down and YBI.
Arrest 16 people all at one time over in the Jeffries projects. 15 minutes after we take them downtown, there's another 25 or 30 runners out there dealing dope. That doesn't sound like we're winning to me.
And one of those that was shot was one of my cousins, Larry Rebels, was shot in the phone booth right over here, about a block over. He got shot here with a shotgun, but he lived, beefing with some of the guys in the Jeffrey Project.
Okay, so let me before I let this guy go, the Davidson brothers. This is some good. This that what we know moment right here. The Davidson brothers were the Davidson family. That was who the movie that Wesley Snipes played in. Him and my man. What was it? That played G Money. Damn. Why did I go with a blank? Help me out, y'all. What's the name of the movie? Wesley Snipes was he was the big dope man, but the setting was in New York. When in all actuality, it was about the Davidson family. A lot of New Jack City. There you go. Thank you, Trey. It was New Jack City. So that movie was actually based off of the Davidson family in Detroit. Let's keep going.
What was Larry doing? Was he selling?
No, Larry was one of my goons, and he he was looking for somebody that owed money over in this area, and they caught him.
Sugar Hill was from that was actually Sugar Hill.
They got him before he got to them, and he shot him up with a shotgun in the phone booth while he was on the phone talking to me.
2 in the afternoon at Woodrow Wilson and Cortlandt on Detroit's west side.
If you hear anybody tell you Woodrow Wilson, this is the craziest thing about Detroit, dog. And you have motherfuckers that y'all be out here beefing, niggas that be on here beefing with niggas in Detroit, and you talking about you gonna catch a fucking plane to come over there and whoop their ass. I guarantee you ain't whooping shit once they tell you that they over there on Woodrow Wilson or Number Streets. You a fool if you bring your ass to Detroit and go over there, anywhere over there looking for somebody thinking that you about to get busy. Nigga, they gonna hang you your ass. Detroit ain't that goddamn thing, man. Please believe that shit.
Watch the teenager in the blue jacket as he approaches the car, throws a signal by holding up 2 fingers, and finally waves the car in. A moment later, a second youngster approaches the car and apparently makes a delivery. The car drives away, and the teenager in the blue jacket...
Bro, look at them goddamn cars. Y'all, yes. Everybody had steel cars then, or metal cars. Everything rusted in Detroit. Look how bad. If you from California, ain't never been nowhere where it's cold, that's how that shit look. That's the wintertime over there. But look at them old ass cars. I'm like, God damn. Them cars never look good to me, ever. I see a Datsun. I think that's a Monte Carlo right there. They got a Cutlass down further down. Shit look ashy. Don't it look ashy? That's how it look.
Passes the money.
Wintertime make Detroit look ashy as hell.
He's received to the runner who made the delivery.
We would mix the two, and once you mix your two, you'll have something with a strong hit, which would be the number 3, and the high in the hole would be number 4.
Braxton, you would love that shit until your ass had to drive them motherfuckers and you had to fix that bitch. The motherfuckers had carburetors. They ain't had no fuel injectors. And unless you knew how to fix a carburetor, your ass was fucked up, especially a 4-barrel.
So once you had that, you would lock the city down. See, a lot of guys didn't have the capacity to go overseas and get dope like from Amsterdam, Turkey through Amsterdam and Bangkok. And they didn't have the connections like that. It wasn't too many that had connections. I had in 4 different parts of the world, 4 continents. 1 key of the number 3, 1 key of the number 4, mix it together. And then we would give 1 key to a week to the ponies and 1 key a week to the YBI. Whoever had the best drugs ruled. And we were supplying YBI and pony. Yeah, well, we would mix the stuff out of Amsterdam, which is number 3, the stuff out of Bangkok, which is number 4. You know,
number 4 means more highly refined.
Number 4 is the best it comes. It's 97.4 pure. Number 4. They call it number 4. It comes from the Golden Triangle. Then you got number 3 that comes from Turkey and Pakistan.
Guys, we talking about how they run to cars. We've been running the cars.
Now we're at Joy Road in Petoskey.
Now this is the craziest part about what they were just saying. Black man was not no fucking. Like you hear the narrative. They dropped off the drugs and they dropped off the guns and they did. Trust me when I tell you, motherfuckers they had passports back then, bro. They were going to Amsterdam. They were going like in the 60s. They were going to Vietnam. These motherfuckers were some very intelligent dudes, bro. I think this is where I have a problem with people thinking that black men were not smart enough to make these type of deals. And I'm only giving you one aspect of it at this time. Imagine the niggas in Florida. Imagine Texas. Imagine the niggas in California. Imagine like when you just put it all together, when you see the movies, Snowfall and all these things, stop just looking at the movies. Get into looking at documentaries. Get some books, dog. These motherfuckers have written books about the things that they've been through, that they've put other people into. Get your feelings out of it. I'm telling you, once you start understanding how this This shit works. That's why my whole thing is this. We got to stop blaming generations and all that shit. That's surface conversations. We done had those conversations. Let's actually talk about it. We got motherfuckers that's still living right now that we could talk to. We got motherfuckers in our family right now, OGs in our family, old motherfuckers that actually use drugs the majority of their childhood and adulthood, and they still made it. Talk to them. Talk to these folks. Quit treating them like they some fucking chronics. I don't know if y'all even talk, even if they even use the word chronic anymore, the way that I'm using it. Chronic mean you ain't shit. Before it meant weed. Before Dr. Dre and them coined it to meaning, some very good weed. Chronic used to mean you was a person that wasn't shit. You was a crackhead or a dope fiend, and they used to call you a chronic. I know in the Midwest that was the slang. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, talk to these folks. They can actually tell you some shit. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and then we're gonna move forward because I think you guys get the gist of what I'm saying as far as what we're talking about. This generation right here, these guys right here, these were the generation baby boomers that were using the young baby boomers and Generation X to move product in the streets. But then you also had some other shit. But we'll be talking about that later in life.
The well-known center of heroin trafficking back on the west side, and this time it's high noon. Young people and teenagers are out on the streets, stopping cars, apparently making sales right under our nose, and hollering out what police say are brand names of heroin, like Whip Cracker.
So let me ask you this. At the time YBI and Pony Down were going and all this violence was going on, you had young children, and did you ever think about, at the same time you had young kids are on these corners selling drugs, how does someone at your level at that time of the drug game reconcile those things? Is it something you don't think about or what?
No, at that time, I wasn't focused on that.
That nigga looked older in the 70s and the 80s than he do now. How that happen?
And I regret that because I wouldn't want my children to be strung out on drugs.
Or selling them.
That's why I kept them from that. And I'm not proud of that as something that I really regret.
At the time.
But at the time, I was so...
Don't that nigga look older there than he do right now? That shit's crazy as hell right there.
I was so consumed in the lifestyle and the money, I didn't think about the psychological part and the part where it would affect how it affected people, how it affected young people.
My position, if it was whatever I had to play at that time.
Could have been picking up and dropping off.
It could have been picking up, dropping off, standing on the block, kicking your ass, you know what I mean? It could have been all different types of things, but it wasn't no lieutenants, captains, wrecking crew, or none of that.
So there was nobody, per se you reported to?
No.
Nobody was in charge of you?
No, we was basically, I ain't gonna say in charge, I say our loyalty, that was what really misled a lot of us.
And who is it that you guys were all loyal to? Different people?
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, they was on about $1 million a week.
Each?
Yeah, each. So that's about $2 million a week. So you can just, from them numbers, you can tell they was doing mostly dope.
$10 at a time.
$10.
So look, the Davis family, what he's talking about right now is they had two rivals. And like I said, the gang culture in Detroit was not as big as it was on the West Coast at all. However, you had these two groups. You had YBI, you had Pony Down. What he's talking about is the Davis family. That was the middle. They were supplying both of these guys, which were rivals. And what they were getting was $1 million a week per crew. $2 million a week This is in the early 80s. Just getting out of the 70s. This is doing Reaganomics. $2 million a week. Now imagine, the dollar was a whole lot stronger then than what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? Inflation is like 400% right now versus what it was during that time. And if you do $2 million a week now in the game, you rocking. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep going.
Bags, bundles, they call them bundles.
Last year, 1981, police in Detroit say they arrested about 1,000 youngsters under 17 for drug offenses.
Let me get this, man. It's not a recruit thing. We don't do no recruit. We didn't do no recruit. It's just like every other neighborhood.
And all are decoys for one another.
Shit.
We would mix the two, and once you mix them, that's why I kept them from that.
Who is it that you guys were all loyal to?
My bad, y'all.
It was like Ice-T said.
Last year, 1981, police in Detroit say they arrested about 1,000 youngsters under 17 for drug offenses.
Let me get this, man. It's not a recruit thing. We don't do no recruit. We didn't do no recruit. It's just like every...
All right, so this is what's crazy. This is what's crazy because this is something that I, as a kid, I didn't see this whole thing. I remember seeing cats. Now, I remember seeing dudes with the Army fatigues. I remember seeing that. What I remember about YBI and, was the campaign hats and top tens. I had to just show you all. I had to pull up a video and show you how if you wear it now, you know what I'm saying? That's more of a Detroit kind of style. And a lot of people... It looks weird if you're not from Detroit, but you got motherfuckers that's wearing that shit now. Campaign hats will run you about $100 for a campaign hat. And some fresh Levi's and some top tens. Top tens are Adidas. If you notice, they wearing this guy right here with the blue and white, the white with the blue stripes. He wearing Adidas. Guaranteed he got some top tens on. But I'll show y'all later on. Let's keep going.
Every other neighborhood, everybody knew each other, and if you was out in the streets, then you chose to get out there.
I've copped dope from kids as young as 8, 9 years old, off of Dwayne and Dexter.
It was like Ice-T said, up early 6 in the morning. That's how it basically was.
6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeaking across the bathroom floor.
Because a lot of heroin addicts are functioning and they had to get it before.
Hey, they had to get it before they go to work. The distribution part, yeah, I helped slang that. I helped do that, Well, selling drugs was just an everyday thing for me to put some money in my pocket.
Several people. One of the arrested persons, Gary Goings.
A whole lot of things was pointed at us that wasn't like to Kerry Goings. He shot the police. That's a friend of mine. But I know him, we real close.
Now or you mean back?
Right now, but back then I didn't really know him.
Oh, Kerry's around.
Yeah, he's still around. He out here now.
Oh, that might be somebody to interview maybe.
Yeah.
Because he got a kind of a good deal considering what happened.
I don't know exactly what happened. All I heard was somebody that was supposed to have been with us just shot some police. And I'm like, whoa, who? Then when they said who it was, I'm like, he ain't with us. Everybody.
My bad. That was that whole thing of where the cops started. Well, they ain't started, but they was already corrupt. And so the only way they knew how to get these cats and start locking them up was to start planting shit on them. That's what he's talking about right now. And it was a lot of dudes that weren't even gang members that ended up spending some time in prison because it was a rap that was put, a jacket that was put on them that they ain't had nothing to do with. That was just how it started to be in Detroit. It was the same way on how in LA they was doing that shit with dudes that what they would call affiliate. But I mean, in LA, from what I know about LA, man, it was a lot of people that wasn't even in gangs that was just affiliated. They were gang affiliated, but that don't mean that you was in a gang. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of people, man, that got bad deals just because of their association. So it was really bad in Detroit the same way. It just wasn't as bad. Like I say, shout out to my boy on the West Coast, man. They had it. It was like 3 times as large as what our shit was in Detroit. And it was a different. I get a chance to when I talk to homeboy, we get a chance to chop it up. But let's keep going.
I was like, he ain't with us. He with you? No.
So those guys were just selling drugs on their own?
Yeah, it was just somebody out there on their own.
Have been arrested for the murder of Officer Green. And he is being charged with murder first degree, also murder was with assault to attempt to commit murder, and possession of firearm while in custody of while committing a felony.
Officer Green died this morning at 8:14. Officer Byers is listed in serious condition at Ford Hospital.
When my name came in the paper, I was locked up.
What was the incident with you supposedly shooting the cop at Richton and Dexter? Was that made up too?
Yes, it was.
So Kurt McGirt's cases that sent him to prison both happened on the same day, which again sounds like there was collusion to get him out of there. He supposedly shot one guy down by the Brewster Projects for, I guess, selling drugs on the turf, or no, maybe he was an informant. And then another guy on the east side was killed. But what makes me think it's possible he was set up on that one was the victim made a deathbed confession to the police. Of course, he couldn't come in court and say it because he died saying Kurt McGirt and Mohawk killed him. Well, there was no Mohawk that was a hitman for YBI. There was a Mo Hurt. But if it's like the police just were hearing a rumor on the street and they had the wrong name, because if a guy that was, he couldn't have possibly did all the things they said he did. He couldn't have been at all those places and all those.
Right. Well, we was, when we seen each other, it was on, right? On the notice of intent, they say based on the complaints of the prisoners and the view of my file, I wasn't supposed to be there. So they sent me down to Jackson.
So Jackson at that time and until they refurbished it was the largest wall prison in the world. More people behind it.
Yeah,
what
pretty
was
much.
Jackson prison like in the early 80s? I mean, you walk in at the age of 20 with 20 years to do.
Hey man, get your shit together, get fucked up.
Quick.
Just imagine you on the yard and it's about close to 2,500 people just moving around. That's just one side.
And most of them doing very long.
Some guys ain't never coming home. Some guys is buried in there. So it's like, and by me being a young guy with a reputation, I had to figure out like, okay, how you gonna do this?
How did you figure it out?
Well, basically, at first I was going about it the wrong way.
Which was?
Finding whatever trouble that was looking for me. Until some friend of mine, they were like, look, man, we're not gonna let you get caught up in here like this. So they pulled me to the side and kept talking to me, getting in my ear, letting me know, look, you got more to lose than gain. So, I kind of like calmed down. Because it was like, by me having a name, it was basically a sign saying, let me try him. Because he's in here and he ain't got no heaters or nothing. So, I had to prove that I don't need no heaters. I'm not saying I'm the best with the hands, but, they couldn't approach me with that type of,
You didn't want to hear any violence?
About none of that, because simple fact is that, I'm here for something that I didn't do. So ain't no need of talking about that. Let me focus on doing this bit.
And talk about, you went to prison, you couldn't read.
All right, that's enough of that.
So it sounds like you were not accumulating points in there.
None at all.
So you didn't.
I wasn't no
stab
problem,
anybody?
none of that, none of them kind of problems.
What did they, flap you for? What was the reason? Don't they have to give a reason? Not really.
Not really. They didn't really give a reason.
It don't matter. It don't matter. Once you done got a reputation in there, and once you get in prison, you in a whole different world, y'all. At the end of the day, when you look at a brother like this brother right here, it's PTSD that he had to suffer. I think it was therapy for him to talk to homeboy in this so-called, I call it a mini documentary, to be able to speak about certain things that he recalled. But this man is over 60 years old now. He spent, over 50% of his life in captivity. And then they asked for him to come out here and be a productive citizen. How you do that? You have to talk to dudes like him. This is when you start talking about OGs and stuff like that. It's another documentary that he talks about what he's doing right now to better himself and the things that he's given to society, because he knew that he wasn't just all the way, righteous. He knew that, but it was one of those things where he was just like, I'm gonna do my bid, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. And when you talk to these cats, man, just imagine somebody that at the age of 14, 15 years old, they was on some other shit. 15, 16, 17, 18. And now they in their 60s, getting ready to be in their 70s. Imagine the stories that you can get from these guys. Because it ain't a lot of them that's walking around. It ain't like it's a whole bunch of these niggas that's walking around. These niggas done put in some work. It's just funny where we're at a society now where rappers get all the accolades that these niggas that, like, when you talk to like niggas like this, and it's just dope. I definitely got to talk to my man Tommy on it. But when you talk to cats like this, these are the dudes that actually be like, I never made, they never made it look like it should be glorified or anything. They're just telling you the story, right? And in all actuality, at the end of them having the conversation with you, they're like, man, I wish I would have changed. I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have, you know what I'm saying? You would hear that I wish, that regret. Or it may not. With a lot of these cats, they don't say that they regret. They say that they started out regretting, and then they say, "No, I'm supposed to do this." And then they can give you some type of wisdom. But then it goes to a point of, is there actually something that is unforgivable? And we could have a long conversation about that. But when you talking to these, this is when you talk about OGs, these niggas are OGs. I personally have talked to a lot of OGs. Personally. I've talked to dudes like, I've worked with guys, dog, that man, these niggas got, they wear polos and, you know what I'm saying? They got slacks and, regular shoes and shit like that. And then you get to hear their story, dog. You'll be like, it'll shake you. Especially when you get somebody that was really, really that dude that's like, no, I took some lives, bro. And I can talk about it right now because I paid my debt. You be like, well, you paid your debt? How long you been in jail? 30 years. 28 years. You like, God damn, can you imagine not being able to do what we can do every day for 20, 30 years? You got to do, and it's like the mind is so powerful, bro, where you just get used to it. And all you know is what's behind those goddamn bars and walls. And then you done spent so much motherfucking time where time flew so fast where motherfuckers they call your name. JT, Pack your stuff. It's time to go. Yeah, that sounds like it would be a great thing to do until you get your ass out there. Motherfuckers, they be like, I've been dreaming about being free and out here, and you get the chance to do it after 20 plus years, and then you get out here and you be like, nigga, this shit is a dud. So I can understand why niggas go back. You trying to get a job, motherfuckers, it's like, man, you come, you tell them I got associates in this and I got associates. Where did you get it from? You know what I'm saying? You like, I got it in prison in Jackson State. And you know how cats, when they come out of prison, everybody got that same way on how they talk. But ever since being incarcerated, I've learned how to adapt myself in society and make myself, you know how they talk. And then motherfuckers hear that whole speech and they just be like, well, I'm sorry, man, I can't hire you. You know what I'm saying? Or a motherfucker do hire them and then they treat them like shit. Niggas get frustrated. Especially if you got a motherfucker that he did some shit when he was 17 years old. This man is 40 fucking years old now. And people will expect this man to come out and be productive, but won't give him a chance. Man, looking like, I'm trying. You know, they done took on a religion, you know, Hebrew Israelite, Muslim. You got a couple of cats that come out being Christian or whatever, but that shit don't help you in prison. That shit don't help you in prison. Yeah. El Cheapo, talking to these cats, you can really, really find out really how they really, really feel. You know what I'm saying? And it's very discouraging. In the 80s, it was super discouraging. I had uncles and cousins that came out of prison and they were really, really trying. And that shit, man, just like so some of the things that you see in movies, some of that shit be for real. You know what I'm saying? If you ever seen like the movie, and a lot of you guys, you know, if you're young, you probably have never seen South Central. Get a chance to look at it. Look at it. It was actually telling a story back then, because what was happening back then was that they were trying to tell these folks' story by making it kind of fictional or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But like even when you see Minister Society and you see Boys in the Hood and you see things like that, these guys actually was trying to tell a story. I think we get kind of lost in it when we start as just fans of movies and shit. We start glorifying shit. And now, because we can make memes out of it and videos out of it, you know, little short videos out of it and, you know, and shit like that, where it kind of takes away from what people were really trying to tell you during that time. So, you know, it is what it is. But let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? Lady D, what's going on, Miss Lady? How are you? What are you saying? Ardent black men supporting deportation. I'm not understanding what you're saying about that. If you're talking about those other folks right now that's in LA and they're rioting, and if you're talking about that shit right there, no, black men are not. We saying that shit ain't our business. We let them figure that shit the fuck out. We in our own, man, we trying to get families together. We trying to get our lives together. Trust me when I tell you that shit. You know, we ain't fucking around with that shit. That's why you're not hearing a whole bunch of black men talking about it. They mentioned it and that's about it. Tommy B says, the first scene in Boys in the Hood said, stop the violence. Absolutely, Tommy. Absolutely. I think Boys in the Hood Menace to Society resonates with me for the simple fact that I actually understood that these guys were actually telling a story, and I never looked at those movies as being glorified, right? I just looked at them for what they were. I looked at them as, good stories. Even if the acting wasn't as good, but in both of those movies, man, the acting was dope, man. You had Lorenz Tate. Motherfuckers thought Lorenz Tate was at least 5'11". That nigga like 5'5". You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Niggas was like, damn, boy. What was his character? Shit, which is crazy because they broke that movie down also. Dog, what's his name? Man, damn, why am I coming at a blanket this shit, man? I haven't seen it in a while. It was somebody, y'all help me out. Lorenz Tate, old dog. What his name? Did my man call him Ortho? What his name? Ortho or something like? I'm gonna look his name up. I guarantee that name actually meant something. Like, you know how we in the movies we catch little nuances and shit like that. It's crazy when you see it and you hear it, or you get a chance to see the takeouts of movies. You be like, damn, they could have put that in the movie. They were like, we didn't put it in because of whatever. It could have been timing. It could have been, all kind of other shit that came down to it. Imagine if Tupac played old boy that was the reformed thug that turned Muslim. I think Tupac would have made that movie even more greater. I think it would have been that much more. At least that character would have shined a little more. You know what I'm saying? Because, when we look at it, like to this day, man, I still sometimes I will watch that movie, man, just to see if it's something that I missed. It's just, I love the soundtrack. I ain't gonna even lie. The soundtrack of it was pretty dope. My man, Scorch, wait, Braxton, you said Scorch. Scorch is in the house? Scorch Earth in the house? Damn, he must have been here because I do not see his. Anyway, what's going on, Scorch Earth, man? What's popping with you, homie? All right, man. So listen, we're gonna move over. We're gonna bring it up a little bit. So I was watching this video with Jason Lee. I really don't like his content. I don't really like this guy. After seeing the interview he did with Candace Owens and shit like that, and just hearing him talk, I gave a judgment on him, right? Gave a judgment on him. A little light judgment, but it's still a judgment, you know what I'm saying? I'm human. And he did a interview with Charleston White. I dig Charleston White. See, I'm a fan of nobody. You know what I'm saying? I really pay attention to what people say and what they do and how they move and shit like that. And the thing that I can say about Charleston White is that I'm a little intrigued with the brother. That's basically where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I would never be a person that'll be like, I champion this or I hate that or whatever it is like that. I judge people, but I mean, it is what it is. If I'm not judging you with discernment, it's going to be very temporary. It's not gonna be for a long time, because I would love, if I said anything about anybody, I'd love to have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? I probably still think about them the same way I think about them, but I'm just not one of those dudes that just want to smoke with any and everybody. That ain't where I'm at no more. I'm too fucking old for that bullshit. But this video here, it kind of gives, and it kind of surprised me that Charleston White, he didn't really turn up. He didn't turn up on this one right here. He actually spoke as who he actually is on this one. And I thought that he was, I thought that he probably was going to turn up, but no, he didn't. And even with Jason Lee, he actually had a great interview with Charleston White. And so I was just like, damn, this was kind of like a dope interaction with them. If you are opposed on any one of these folks and you got feelings that's strong about these people, that's probably not the time where you want to watch this damn video right here. But I'm going to play this shit. And we're going to start going a little bit different. From take yourself out of the 80s. Let's get over here to the 2000s. And then we hear the people in 2000 talk about when they were raised. Here we go.
This is interesting because I've told the story many times in interviews, even on my own show and interviewing Floyd. When I first came into the game wanting to unlock Hollywood, I thought, hey, there needs to be a platform that shows black culture in a way that mainstream doesn't. So I'm gonna be their favorite platform to go to. It didn't happen like that. And Floyd said, stop trying to be everybody's friend and just be a savage, because a savage always wins. I thought, well, I don't want to be a savage, because sometimes it feels uncomfortable to have to be a savage. But the minute I started saying what I thought, I mean, it almost seemed like a magnet. It sucked the industry in. Why is it that way in our culture, you think? And then do you believe, like I do, that we know how to cannibalize our own better than everybody else?
Of course we do. It's almost how we get ahead in America. We can't get ahead in America really uplifting other black people, and we're openly doing it. We can't at every...
Yeah, I can understand exactly what you're saying, Scorch. Most definitely. That's why, I like to just look at people and have a light judgment on them. You know what I'm saying? Where it can be veered, but at the end of the day, I'm just observing. So it's a little bit different when you have that observation and, you're not really expressing your judgment on them. Like, this is the end, the end to all. This is how I look at a person right now, whatever. And then you just work it out from that point on. But let's keep going with the video. But I agree with what you're saying. Most definitely.
Level of success that we get to, we openly as black people reach back down and pull other black people up by the masses. They'll close the doors on us.
They who? White folks or black people?
Black people. White people stopped being our enemies a long time ago.
Oh, I can feel the internet right now. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Why?
Because capitalism has superseded racism in America. So it's becoming more of nationalism, right? This is America. So that's why you see the Proud Boys, groups like that emerging, white ring conservatives. They're not talking racism, they're talking their country. We're stuck on racism.
Black folks, but people would say black people can't be racist.
We're stuck on the idea of being racist. We don't have the power to be.
The idea of the country and white people still being racist?
Yeah, so we're because we feel that we're owed something, whether there's reparations or we truly believe, and we are owed something, if we're going to be honest, right? But there's a group that feels entitled, and that's the group that's hurting us, right? So the entitled group uses racism as an excuse, as a crutch, but they really don't know racism, because racism is really hidden in the fabrics of America and bank loans and why you can't access. So we see more prejudice than we do racism.
It's interesting. I was on a call today with a brand where I've been talking to this brand that everybody knows for 3 years about a partnership. And I said, you know what? I just want to understand you. When George Floyd died, all of you promised millions and billions of dollars investing in black-owned businesses, and you haven't done that. But you haven't told me that you don't want to do it, but you keep stringing me along. Let's just have the conversation. Do you just want us to buy your products and you don't want to invest in our businesses, because this is what I'm feeling. And that, to me, like as you say, the new racism is embedded in like keeping us down, not really investing in black targeted, not black owned. But why do you think our culture still strives for that white validation? Because I do say in many ways, you know, you ain't gonna stop somebody wanting an endorsement deal or wanting to walk that red carpet of a mainstream platform.
Man, ain't nothing like a Harvard law degree compared to HBCU degree in this country. There's nothing compared to living in Calabasas compared to South Central LA. So the validation is there because we validate one another based off of it. A good paying job, rather than black ownership, black entrepreneurship, or black economics. Do you have a good paying white man job? So that's always been the validation for us. That's some security that you can die with. Your good paying job, the benefits that good paying job offers you compared to you starting your own business and passing that down as a family tradition or an inheritance, right? So what else do we have to strive for outside of white validation? Black excellence still seeks white validation.
As you say that, I see Jay-Z standing on the Grammys stage.
Puffy checking the people at the Grammys and missing the BET Awards. Rather than making our BET Awards the Grammys or making our Black Hollywood like the Oscars, we want to fight with them about what's been.
So listen, it's crazy, and I'm just gonna go back, Lady D. I get what you're saying. You're saying the white man is the only one capitalizing. No, he's not. That's why I had to show that video that I showed earlier, and I can go more depth into it. Everyone participates in capitalizing. Everybody. When it comes down to it, either you're going to be the one that's being used or you're going to use somebody some way, somehow. Now, the evil ways of using people is, that's where we have a problem with. But it's funny to me where black folks will talk shit about capitalization or capitalism, or what's the other one? Yes, capitalism. But they participate just like everybody else is participating in it. Listen to what these guys are actually talking about. This is the thing where it comes down, again, the crack era babies are the ones that have ruined the communities and all of these things. That's a saying where that's not necessarily true. Everybody participates in all of this shit. And this is what this conversation actually is about with these guys. But let's keep going.
And making their show better for us.
But their show isn't strictly for us.
Right.
Right? So it's no difference than us once having the Negro League, and the Negro League was doing so good, it brought them to us.
But who do we blame for the apathy right now with black excellence? Is it black folks? Is it white folks? Is it social media?
You don't blame nobody. You look in the mirror and blame you.
If you're not contributing to it.
If you're not contributing. So
Braxton, this is the thing. You say, I do see tiny points in his statements, but people like him, I just take as entertainment. That's cool. There's no problem with that right there. But you have to also understand that we have to be more vigilant as men on what the message that is coming across. It's no problem with you saying, I just take him as entertainment. I don't. I actually see what he's doing. I actually see that he's bringing a message that is not palatable to a lot of people. And most people that is not palatable to is people that want this bullshit to keep going. The reason why it's dope to see a conversation between Charleston White and Jason Lee is because they're on two sides of the spectrum. Two sides of the spectrum. When I hear Jason Lee talk, man, I'm telling you, if I show you the video, and you probably seen it, but if you've seen the video of him and Candace Owen, he sound crazy as fuck. and they were actually having they were actually debating one another, and she lit him up in a debate. He sounded crazy. This interview that he had with Charleston White, now, trust me, the interview was actually 3 hours long, something like that, 3 hours and something long. And actually, they actually had something that you can take away from the conversation. If we're listening to a lot of these conversations right now, folks, and this is my whole thing, if we keep listening to shit with our emotions, we ain't gonna never get the message. We ain't gonna never be able to see people for actually who they are. It's just, that's just what it is right now. I understand where you're coming from, Braxton, but trust me when I tell you, we have to, as men, have an open mind when we listen to shit. The reason why I say that is because there's nothing for us to tell somebody to get the fuck up out of here. We're the protectors. And if you're a protector like I am, it's just can't nobody really pull that bullshit over me. They're gonna have a problem with me every time. If you see me on some of these panels, man, them motherfuckers that come over here with that bullshit, we don't get along. There's very few people. Now that's the craziest part about it. There are very few people that's in this world right here, this YouTube world, that I don't get along with when I'm having conversations with, because we're listening to one another. It's very few people that I can't get along with because they don't want to have the conversation and they about the bullshit. Crazy thing is about me is I'm with the shits too. I ain't got a problem with that either. But you get tired of that shit if you out here swinging all the time and you out here just, the only thing that you want to do is windmill and all that shit. That ain't why I come on these panels, man. I come to have better conversations, and we can make some great things out of the things that's happening right now. We just got to look at one another, especially men. We got to kind of look at one another a little bit different than what we've been looking at each other as. Thugs, simps, motherfucking, I mean, ain't nothing you can do when a nigga is actually a sugar boy. He is what he is. But we can go a little bit different, man, where some of these guys that don't deserve what they get, the flack that they get, if we just have conversations with them, man, we can disagree with each other and be amicable with each other. I hate that word, but I got to use that word. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Lady D said, I earned and had to work for everything I own. It's a choice. It is a choice. I can agree with that, but you know, it's a lot more than just being black and white too. There's gray that's there too, Lady D. Black Man Unfiltered say it's the fourth layout. JT, what are you talking about, homie? Text me. Let me know what you're saying. Oh, okay. I think I get what you're saying, but just text me anyway, just to get it together. Let's keep going, y'all.
It's kind of like, that's what brought me to the community, right? Oh shit. Okay, I got you. I'm traveling around the country, and I was partnering with a national lobbyist group out of Washington, D.C. that was called the Campaign Fair Sentencing of Youth. So I became a member of a national youth advocacy program that was called ICANN, Incarcerated Children's Advocacy Network. And so I learned about fundraising. I learned about all these different things. And so throughout traveling and speaking in all these different places and working on laws and legislation, you would hear people say, well, you become the change that you want to see in your community. That was the greatest challenge that I had ever heard. Mm-hmm. You go become the change that you want to see in the community. So in order to do that, I had to change my belief system.
And what was your belief system at the time?
I believed the culture. Mm-hmm. I believe real niggas went and done time and suffered.
Listen to what he's saying, folks. Listen to what he's saying. He's talking about himself and what he believed and what's got him to being the man that he is right now. This is what I was just saying, Braxton. Understand what this boy is talking about right here, man.
In agony And they died with pride, only to not know that's not the truth. I believe that 4 friends riding in the car, one friend should take the charge for all the friends if he could.
So I'm gonna pause there. You were 12 years old, riding in 14, riding in the car with folks, got into a situation where a person ended up being murdered.
Yeah.
You've told the story. You were 14 at the time.
14 years old.
You didn't shoot the person, but the person died.
Yeah.
You did, how many, 10 years, 9 years?
I was sentenced to 12 years under the Texas Juvenile Determined Sentencing Law. And I spent right at 6.5 years in the Texas Youth Commission from the age 14 to 21.
So did that time teach you what you just said?
Yeah, it did.
That's the reason why when I was saying about the guys, that's why I did the video with Young Boys Incorporated, YBI, right? These guys were very young. And these guys were before. Charleston White is younger than me, 6 years younger than me. The guy that I showed before Charleston White is at least 6 years older than me, probably 9 years older than me. All depends. Same concept. This is what Charleston White is saying. He learned from that generation. He learned that when you know what I'm saying? When you out there and you with your homeboys, and if you get caught, fuck it, I take the rap for all y'all. I take all of it. You got niggas that's actually doing that. Got the jails full of them dudes. That's that whole loyalty bullshit. If anybody know, and if you've ever followed me, What We Know podcast, JT, and you've heard me speak about loyalty, you keep your fucking loyalty. I want a nigga that has integrity. Loyalty is for the streets. I say that. That's what I tell people. That's the reason why. Niggas is doing time and ain't put in the work. Because this is the things that they believe. This is the things that black men have put themselves up under. It's a lot of pressure, y'all. Being a black man is in America, man, it's a lot of fucking pressure. Black men be acting like they don't understand other black men. And this is what frustrates a lot of us. This is what frustrates a whole bunch of us, man. This is why we gotta at least start having an open mind when it comes down to just listening to what the plight is of us. If not, then I go right back to just saying, it ain't no motherfucking community. That's just how I look at it. Either we gonna do something or we just gonna say, fuck it. Ball this shit up and throw the whole fucking community away. If every time you got a Charleston White, Tommy Sotomayor, JT, or anybody to come and they express they thoughts and you just say them niggas ain't shit. Fuck them niggas, they all that. All right, throw the whole community away then. We're not trying to make a change just for the sake of change. We like, man, this shit is fucked up. And a lot of times we ain't even trying to ain't no fame in it, ain't none of that. Niggas just feel a certain way. We get a camera, we get a microphone, and we say, this is what I'm going to express. But look what we got right now. Look at how everybody look at us when we say, look, this shit got to change. You gay. You a square. You ain't shit. All of these different things. It's funny when they say you gay and then the ones that's actually gay, like Jason Lee. They don't say that motherfucker is out of pocket. This nigga got a hell of a goddamn following. This is why it makes it so easy for all these panderers to be able to infiltrate the black society or community. Because we keep thinking surface. We keep having our emotions on our sleeve. Shit is fucked up, man. Let's keep going.
Because the culture don't do your time.
No. I grew up a privileged kid, right? My mother was a financially stable black woman who landed a job at General Motors in the early 80s. So during the 80s, General Motors and other blue collar workers, that was the backbone of America.
That was considered, we have a good job.
What? That was the real middle class of America, and you live good, right? So we had all the name brand clothes, but I was an entitled kid. I got an allowance. We had saving bonds. I had a piggy bank. I had my own room. So the shit that
He laughed at that. Everything that Charles White said he had, I had it. Savings bond, a pig. I had a Donald Duck bank. I had that shit until I was an adult. I think I gave it to my nephew. I can't remember who I gave it to. Me and my cousin had got that. We were 4 years old. My auntie used to work in a bank, and she had got the Donald Duck banks, and we used to put money in there. I had all kind of different types of money. My uncle was in the Army. He used to give me Deutschmarks when he used to come. I put it in the piggy bank. I had people that gave me Canadian dollars. I used to put it in the bank. Big ass silver dollars. I was putting that shit in the bank. My father, he showed me how to balance a checkbook. Everything, it kind of resonates with me when I'm hearing Charleston White talk. I had an allowance, and the allowance wasn't based off of me doing good in school. It wasn't based off of me doing chores and shit. It was an allowance. That's exactly what it was. Now, don't get it twisted. If I'm fucking up, that allowance is gone. This is what my parents was teaching me. They were already giving me a little something in the world where it's like, this is how the world it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep on.
You laughing,
Charleston, now you showing our age. You've been watching, don't know what no damn piggy bank is. Now you just took me back. Now you made me feel old because I had a piggy bank.
I just seen you laugh. So
piggy bank was when we actually saved money. Now you're too busy out buying shit that you can't afford to be somebody that you ain't arrived at.
To this day, I have a motherfucking chain. I got a big ass jar. And I swear to God, right now, I probably got about $100 worth of quarters and pennies and dimes. And the only reason why is at 100 is because I don't use dollars anymore. I use my cards all the time. I use my credit cards and debit cards and shit like that. But nigga, I still have right now, if I need to get $100, $50 or something like that, I can go right there and get that shit right now. There's a lot of people my age that have it. A change jar. That's crazy. Damn, but Jason Lee is a little older than what I thought. I think he was born in the 70s too, in the late 70s. I think he was born in 78, right along with Charleston White. Scorched Earth said, I had a chemistry set at 10 years old. I mean, a real chemistry set. They were doing that back then. Absolutely. Like, nigga, you had acid and all kind of shit that came with that set. I remember that. I had a telescope, a microscope. We ain't got all that shit no more. It's so funny because my grandson, me and his grandmother bought him a telescope. Like, he got a lot of the stuff that we was, I'm looking for right now a racing car track so I can get it for him so he can set it up in his room. That's crazy. No, man, let's keep going because I'm all over the place now. Let's go.
Yeah, that's a piggy bank.
Yeah, so my mother was trying to instill good morals and good values into her kids. She was God-fearing. She was a Christian. We had to say yes, ma'am, no, sir. So that's prior to the gangster culture, right? So,
but your dad was a Navy officer. Was he in your life at this time?
He was in and out.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in and out.
So so you're with mom. Mom's at General Motors. Dad is in and out, but he's a Navy officer.
But I got an uncle.
Okay.
So this is the elements in most black families. Whether you got a good mom or a dysfunctional mom, right? You always got that element of that uncle who has access to what the kids hear or see, right? So it's the uncle coming through, whether he's a pimp, a drug dealer, a molester, a woman beater. It's always something of that image that has a negative influence within the family.
And the relationship that makes the pathway to that influence seem okay.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So just give an example. When Uncle Wayne was coming through with the 3-piece suits on, getting out the Rolls Royce, briefcase full of money, you see, as a kid, you see how the family responds to him, right? With your young and impressionable mind, you mimic what you see people admire in your culture and in your environment. But when you wake up one night and he's beating his woman, how do you wrestle with that? Mm-hmm. When you still see the family treat him in a certain element, right? So don't shame the negative attributes that you see. The uncle who walks through the house with the sagging pants with the gun, who still lives with grandmama, whose sister just dropping the kids off over here, right? Grandmama just babysitting for a while, but the uncle still lives there. It's no different than the one who molests the kids, mm-hmm. who has access to the kids. So you end up mimicking that behavior. So I'm born in the 70s. My uncle was a pimp. The 70s and the 80s was the black exploitation era. It's no different than the drill era, the gangster era, the trap music era. We had a black exploitation era that was projected through Hollywood and entertainment.
Man, listen. This nigga speaking nothing but facts right now. He's speaking nothing but facts right now. If you close to my age, you can go back to the adults or semi-adults that had access to you. This is what Charleston is saying. It didn't have a lot to do with your parents, who raised you and who blah, 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 this and that. Sometimes, man, it's who they love that's close to them that has access to you. This is what he's talking about. This is how this shit transfer from one generation to the next generation. Listen to what he said. My mama, God-fearing, she went to church. She was all about, hey, homework. You gotta have that. The house gotta be clean. You gotta have order. Gotta have order. But you still had aunties and uncles and cousins that had access to you. And when you talk to them, it's a little bit different. This is the thing, like when I talk to my mom, she'd be like, well, y'all were good kids. And, y'all, we ain't never had to worry about y'all ever, veering here and veering there. No, I'm like, hold on, ma. No, we did it. We just didn't get caught. And she couldn't believe it. No. This is when she hear us talking, the way that, when you hear your kids talking when they get a little bit older, it would surprise you the dialect that your kids have when they speak it. It's because they have the respect for you that they wasn't saying it. But as you start having grown, when your kids start getting grown, you be like, ain't this a bitch? Then they start telling you about the things that they observed being a kid when they get grown. And that's only if you have that type of relationship with your child. But when you're trying to figure, that's why you got a bunch of, parents that's like, where did I go wrong? Sometimes it wasn't where you went wrong. Sometimes it was just at the end of the day, your kids are not yours. They're for the world. Because guess what your kids end up being? Fucking adults. And from there on, they're going to be adults for the rest of their life until they die. A lot of parents don't see it that way until the reality smack the shit out of them. Where did you get that language from? I haven't talked. You wasn't raised that way. Y'all heard that shit before. You heard some parents say they wasn't raised that way. The fuck is you talking about? You ain't the only one raising your child. That's just the reality of it. If you're exposing your children to other family members, you're exposing them to danger. Every one of us. We understand. I'll tell you one thing my father never did. Knowingly, if he knew a family member was on some bullshit in life, prison for whatever it was, if they was not in righteousness at all, he say you can't spend a night. I don't care how good of a compadre you is with your cousin. I know that's your cousin, but they on some bullshit over there, and you can't go over there. Hurt my heart as a kid. As an adult, looking back at it, I said, thank you, Daddy. Tell you how crazy that shit was between him and my mama. I can go back to my mama and say, my daddy out here tripping. Why I can't go over there at cousin, Maggie's house or whatever. My mama be like, I'll talk to him. She go over there. She ain't said 2 words to my father. She say, well, he just said you can't go. She ain't said 2 words to him because she already know what it was. She revered him as the man that he was. We ain't got that shit no more, man. We ain't got that shit no more. Not at all. Scorched Earth. You say, man, playing ding dong ditch at midnight, throwing rocks at the gangsters and leaving the house at noon. Don't return until past dark. Never got kidnapped or anything. Times were different. They were. Absolutely. Lady D, she comes and says, I was the gatekeeper and I was good at what I did. I can agree. I can see that. Braxton says that line in Tyler Perry's The Family That Prays. Can't remember the first part of the line, but it was about kids and parents. The last part was, you are not their only influence. I remember that. I remember that, Braxton. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fitness Vision. He says, kids don't appreciate parents until you become one. Absolutely. Absolutely. That and the thing is that the only thing that we can do with our kids is just, instill the basics into them. And sometimes we have to be very solid on what we teach our kids while they're kids, because when they become parents, it comes back to them. Like my daughters always tell me, hey, I remember that time when, and that come when me and you, or, she'll say something with her mom or something like that. And then she'll say with her child, she'll say, it all comes back to me. Absolutely. This is what it's about. Braxton, he says, me and my oldest full blood sister did spend the night at our friends and cousins' fam's home. Don't know if our older half sibling did or didn't or not. Oh, okay, I got you. Throwing out, yeah. Throwing rocks at gangsters. That sounds diabolical, dog. Most definitely. All right, man. I'm gonna do a little bit more of this, and then we about to move forward. I'm about to drop this link also, y'all.
Superfly, The Mac, Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2.
Was Foxy Brown a part of all that?
Come on now. Mm-hmm. So when you think about Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, as kids, we don't have access to these movies because they're not coming on television. Your uncle's got these videotapes, these VCR tapes. So we're watching them. So my name is Charleston. My dad's name is Charles Ray. My name is Charleston Jamon. But my pimp uncle, when I come home from the hospital, he called me Charleston Blue because there was a pimp movie called Come Back Charleston Blue that came out in '76. So they're already putting titles and labels on you as children that you just end up walking into, whether it's, boy, you gonna be just like your daddy.
I heard that.
Come on now. You might not even know your daddy, but the traits and those attributes are there because of the chromosomes.
So where was it that you were raised by the mom who had the great job, the decent job, the father who was in and out Navy? But this
El Cheapo, absolutely. It actually is true. It actually is true. As we get older, those things that we ended up encountering when we were younger, it'll come back to us, most definitely. The Bible says some things like that too. I'm not about to get into the Bible, but it does also say some things that goes in correlate with that. Also, let's keep going, y'all.
Still a positive image. Here comes the uncle. When did the shift happen that led you to prison?
Well, my mom, my grandmother's been to prison. So my mom would have to take me to go visit my grandmother in prison. My granddad ended up going to federal prison. My mom would have to take us to go see him. Then my Uncle Wayne is in and out. You know, the street hustling uncle who come take a bath over his sister house, change clothes, wash up over there, get a nephew some money, let him ride in the car.
He must have read my book or something.
No.
Because we all have it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the people who sit and judge us, those of us who actually live through what we all go through, they go through it too.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting about the culture, because on the outside, when you watch the
I'm gonna have to read Jason Lee. Now I really need to read his book because I know nothing about this brother. All I know is that he was discovered after being on social media. Nick Cannon discovered this brother. He was on Wild 'N Out for a minute. And the craziest part about that is that, like I said, myself, on the surface, I'm like, I really don't like this cat. But it's intriguing to see this interview that he's having with Charleston White. Like I said, I don't have the whole 3 hours. I got a video. I have the 3-hour video that he had with Charleston White, but I'm not gonna show that video. I just wanted to do a little something because it just pushes, what I'm talking about tonight. But I may have to buy this brother's book just to see what's popping. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Let's go.
Social media or the interviews, like you have the same uncle.
Everybody have this element in their family.
Yeah.
Everybody got a molester.
Everybody
in their
that
family.
looks like us.
Every human being.
Who, Tommy? Who lives in the city that you in right now?
And have a molester in their family. They have an abuser in their family. They have an addiction trait in their family. It's in every human being, right?
Yeah. It's
there. So my mother is fighting.
Everybody at home right now is texting their molesting uncle.
So my mother is fighting to keep us from this, but because she's a single mother, and back then there was really no resources to help single mothers. So my mom, when I'm getting out of school, they doing 12-hour shifts at General Motors. So when I'm
okay, for shit show, most definitely. I'm gonna have to read this guy's book, man. It's a little bit different than what I thought. You know what I'm saying? So. All right.
I'm getting out at 3. My mother is kissing us, literally saying, I got meatloaf on the table, the such and such in there. Make sure y'all do this. Leave your homework out on the table. So she's giving us instructions. Don't leave out this house. Don't open the door. I'm going to call this such and such, make time. So she's giving us instructions.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to that.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And so she's going from 3 in the afternoon to 3 at night.
Yeah.
So when my mama coming home, she's doing her due diligence. We better have the homework out because she gonna work us. Where y'all homework at? She's going to the extent of going to the bathtub to check and see if the soap wet, to see if we took a bath. Get up, boy, and take a bath. Y'all ain't took no bath because of soap. So she's doing all of that to try to instill good morals and good value. But while she gone, Uncle Wayne coming by cooking up dope.
Now listen, it's not far-fetched. Nowhere in America, in Black America, that shit is not far-fetched. That's not far-fetched what he just said. Listen to what he said. 3 in the morning, or 3 in the afternoon to 3 in the morning. This Texas. He talking about Texas. I know in Detroit, many of my homies, that's why we got a chance to go over there and kick it over their house. We had skip parties and all kind of other shit that was going on in high school. Me, I didn't really skip no much. I had a bad experience when I did skip, so I wasn't really big in skipping. But what he's saying was a Black American experience during that time. Mommy doing well. Like he said, his mama worked at GM. So she was making some bread. At least enough bread to take care of her family, do whatever she needed to do with the family, whatever. But when she ain't around, when she can't see, my uncle there, what'd he say? It wasn't like that in my household, but I understood exactly what he's talking about, cooking up the dope, bringing people over, all kind of other shit. This is how that shit gets there. It's influences of your family members, the one that's supposed to love you. This is what he's talking about. This is what he's talking about. It's not hard to do the math. Let's keep going.
She got a sister who's just getting crack, came through what, 81, 82. So now my aunt is addicted to crack. So now my aunt is losing her place. Her and her kids have, my mom's trying to be the backbone to save the family. So she's exposing us to the negative elements of our families by bringing these family members into our homes, allowing them to stay with us, trying to help them. So we picking up on all the negative attributes. When we go spend a night over Aunt B house on the south side, over in the ghetto, we get to stay outside. So we picking up all these negative traits by going to go visit family members, coming back home in the well-to-do areas, mimicking the behavior.
Hey man, if y'all haven't done so, please hit that like button, man. If you like what you're getting, if you like this content, please, you can go over. If you're on Black Man Unfiltered, you can definitely give us a super chat or a Cash App, or you can give a super chat on, I don't do Cash App, on mine, just super chats that's over there on the What We Know podcast. We really appreciate that. If you can't, if you want to just do something as far as a contribution, and you don't want to get no money, just go ahead, hit that like button, y'all. Most definitely. Let's keep going.
Right. Culturally. Because this is our culture at the time. Mm-hmm. So, man, by the time I played the flute in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade.
I played the flute in the 8th.
Yeah, fuck what you talking about, nigga. That flute. I used to be in the marching band, and I was not playing no motherfucking flute. That shit, I'm just saying some crazy ass shit, but I'm not playing no fucking flute. Let's keep going though.
Lost my eye in the 3rd grade. I got my glass eye put in the 6th grade. So up until that point, I was in and out of hospital. So I had a private tutor. So I never really started going to school until the 6th grade, really. So I had 9 eye surgeries. I fell in the washing machine when I was 5. So between those 2 injuries, I really never got to go to school. I was a institutionalized baby. Mm-hmm. I had a tutor, private tutor that came, so I was in and out the hospitals. So by the time I get in 6th grade, I'm a burst of energy. I'm a burst of energy.
But also, you had been sheltered, so to an extent, so now there's this newfound freedom.
Yeah, there's a newfound freedom. So with this newfound freedom, I remember when Colors came out. I had just got this newfound freedom.
See, we the same age, so everything you're saying, when Colors came out, that was the one movie in the theater in our community where they killed somebody in the theater.
Yep. That's the first time ever. So, man, this was a phenomenon. So I done saw my Uncle Butch. I done saw my Uncle Boosie. I done saw Uncle Wayne. And plus, I done been to Aunt B house to see some of this on television, what I saw in real life. And the thing about children, they can't decipher what's real from television. So when a kid is watching somebody die on TV, they really think that person is dying because of the lack of brain development. It's hard for a kid to turn off TV and say that wasn't real. I don't care what you say.
Right.
So I'm seeing what I'm seeing on television, I'm starting to see in the community. The awareness is now coming because it's being propagated through the television screens. So it's like a veil comes off when I'm out in the community. So now I know what a gangster looks like. So now I'm trying to mimic it based off the culture. So this is just from television. Now here come the music. So now we seeing. Now, and we don't watch Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, and the favorite character is Too Sweet. A little guy like me that went to learn how to fight in prison. So, man, by the time we're in the 6th grade, we're talking about what we're going to do when we go to prison. Because now we've developed the concept and with our young and impressionable minds that Uncle Wayne done been to prison, Uncle Curtis done been to prison, so all these men in your family, you spend the night over your friend's house, all these other men done been, so you start thinking this the way. Because now it's being propagated to you as a kid.
But is that what led you on your path?
Yeah.
So you were influenced by your surroundings.
My surroundings and television. Because when my mother, I'm a kid that grew up watching television raise me, and I'm fascinated by the gangster, the negative stuff, because my uncles and them is exposing me to things. So I'm already impressed by it. So when I see it in real life, man, I'm fascinated by a guy that seems to be like what I see on television, like this. So I'm drawn to it because your mind is young and impressionable, and these are the guys who you idolize in your homes. So when you spend a night over your friend's house, you start looking at their uncles and their daddies to see if they got the similar traits. Guess what? They got the similar traits. His dad, your daddy just getting out of jail too? Man, that's my brother.
Well, and in our community, people glorified it.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So a pimp, my uncle being a pimp and beating women, it wasn't shamed upon. So it wasn't nothing for me when I got in the 7th, I think the 8th grade, for me to try to slap my girlfriend like my uncle. And plus the music, like Eazy and them say, your pimp slapped the bitch.
But
that's what the music said. You just a kid.
Did you pimp slap the 8-year-old girlfriends?
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to do what my uncles and them did.
What was so when you pimp slapped the
I'm telling you, I met this nigga before. And it's funny because the nigga that I met, he has the same spirit as this nigga that I met, but the nigga was a lot older than me. Charleston White, and it's so familiar, but I understand now why it is, baby. Because the nigga is 6 years younger than me. But that spirit right there, I seen that shit before this nigga even was where he at right now. I seen that type of shit. It's hard for people to be able to digest the way people like Charleston White talk. I think it's kind of crazy for us as black folks, especially us that's been in the hood before, to be sensitive to how this man is relaying something. I think this is one of the reasons why he has such a big following, is because there's more people that understand what he's talking about than it is not. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Hey, if y'all got a different opinion or whatever, man, that y'all want to express, you can come here. I'm gonna put this link in the chat so we can have a conversation for a minute. I want to play a little bit more of the video, but I'm gonna move forward, bro. I'm already at 2 hours. If you don't go over there, man, to Hollywood Unlocked. Again, Jason Lee, he has some very intriguing interviews. The two interviews that I seen that kind of intrigued me was the one that he did with Candace Owens and the one that he did right here, I'm showing right now with the brother Charleston White. I understand why so many people want Charleston to interview with him. This guy, he can speak his ass off, man. This dude can talk, man. And what he speaks is, whether you agree with it or not, he's actually speaking something where you can have conversation with him on. This dude is very good at having conversation with people. And in my opinion, he's a dope brother. I said it. There's a couple of people that a lot of people probably don't like or whatever. And they don't think that they're, I think these motherfuckers, I think this is a dope dude. This is somebody that I can have a conversation with, man, for 10 hours. For fucking 10 hours, man. Oh, shit.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love casting spells.
Big up to my man, Big Ant 11 with the 10 ball. He came down here and he rocked that motherfucker, man. Listen, you can be just like my man, Big Ant, by donating to the show, whether it's What We Know Podcast or Black Man Unfiltered, man. We both appreciate it, man. Hey, Big Ant, appreciate you, brother. Big Ant says, what up, JT? I don't trust this dude, bruh. Charleston is like a cartoon to me. I feel what you're saying, brother, but trust me when I tell you, we always have to be, as men, be able to pivot on the way that we think. That's why I can appreciate what brothers like Big Ant saying, my man Braxton. You know what I'm saying? Lady D, I can appreciate what you guys are saying. Absolutely. But this is why it's great for us to have conversation. I really, really appreciate that. Hey, listen, Big Ant just gave a $10 $10 hookup for us, man. You know what I got to do. I ain't did it all damn day. But I'm going to do it right now. Matter of fact, let me go on here. Let me see, which one do I want to do? Let's do, let's keep it 313. Shit. Let me get my man Moss. Right here. Thank you, brother, for the $10. Let's go.
Whatever you want, whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Oh, whatever you need, then nothing I won't do. Whatever you want, my heart belongs to you. Whatever you need, my heart belongs to you. Whatever you need, there's nothing I won't do. Whatever you want, my heart belongs to you.
All right, man. Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, man, listen. I'm going to do this one. Now, I got one more video I'm going to do. It's not going to be that long because I really don't like talking about this shit. But these motherfuckers keep pushing. They keep poking the bear. So one of the things I don't like is when somebody keep pushing me to a point where I got to start letting shit loose. So let me go to this point right here. Black men, we're labeled as thugs, simps. We're labeled as, deadbeat dads. We got a bad rap. We really got a bad rap. and this is not just women that saying it, it's other men that says it too, right? And then there's another thing that we have where they're making us the poster child also, is being these sugar boys. And then if we ain't sugar boys, then we actually are the sugar boy whisperers, or the, the gay whisperers, or whatever the fuck you want to call this. And one of the motherfuckers I could tell you, see, y'all could say whatever y'all want to say about my man Charleston White, but I'm going to tell you, there's a motherfucker that's way worse than him. And this nigga is terrible. He's terrible. He's fucked up for the black community, if you ask me. It's this nigga that's called Ray J. I really don't like this nigga. I don't like him because this nigga he's a sucker, man. I can't stand this motherfucker, man. Ray J is one of them motherfuckers where I just be like, man, why? I think I thought he was funny or whatever, but I don't anymore. You know what I'm saying? But hold up.
Wizard Money Gang, we love casting spells.
My girl, El Cheapo came with the 10 ball. Yeah. Cheapo says, happy Father's Day, JT, and all the black fathers. I really appreciate you. Let me give you another explosion, sister. Most definitely. Absolutely. And for that, my sister, I'm going to have to give you this.
My name is Rosa. They say I'm supposed to sit in the back, but I'm tired of hell, so I'm finna sit right closer. Come get me up then. It's gonna take about 3, 4, 5 men. And I ain't finna repeat myself again. Fight me. Somebody get her. My name is Eve. Yeah. I didn't believe. Yeah. I trusted Satan, ate that apple, he deceived. Yeah. And yeah, I'm naked. I thought I was awakened. I'm the first to do it. Y'all my daughters, we related. Yeah. Trick on Big Harry. Yeah. Don't call me slave hoe. The hell? From the underground, dirt road, bust down mouth of dope. When I say run, you better go. In the dark, that Glocky glow.
In the dark, that Glock can glow. Hey, and if you didn't know, that's all the same female. She's playing every one of them. Eve, Big Harry, all of them. Harriet Tubman. Man, that's the dopest. That's a dope video, man. Most definitely. Hey, we got to give it another one. Thank you. My girl El Cheapo from the West Side. Most definitely. We really appreciate you over here, sweetie. Most definitely. All right, man. So getting back to what I was just saying, I can't stand Ray J ass. And I'm going to show y'all why. And after this, I'm going to play one more video. And the video that I'm going to play is basically going to just sum up a lot of this shit when it comes down to us being able to have some form of, as men and women. But the video that I'm going to show after this, it's more of to help men fix a lot of the bullshit that we going through. But let's keep going with this right here. This is a video of Ray J and Candace Owen and a infiltrator having a conversation. Let's go.
We've all been 17 before. We've all been teenagers. I would almost say that you could qualify the teenage experience as just an identity crisis, like one long identity crisis. You're trying to figure out literally who you are.
Yeah.
That is what adolescence is. And that's why I say, quite jokingly, but kind of also seriously, bring back cigarettes, because now there are just been an explosion of children who think they're non-binary, think they're transgendered. No matter how you estimate it, you know that there were not this many people that were struggling, and they didn't all become transgendered. And so it is part of this is becoming a contagion, social contagion, well, social contagion is real, right? So if you see me smoking cigarettes, so everybody starts smoking cigarettes. I mean, that was the reason why cigarettes got popular. You put
But
someone on a
sometimes
poster.
when you hit the cigarette and you try to smoke it, you can't inhale it, so you cough. Like,
Yeah, but we stomped out cigarettes. So there used to be the majority of people in America were smoking cigarettes, and it was because of advertising, right? So people were looking, the doctors were telling them it was healthy. That
smoke on the plane.
Exactly. So that used to be a thing in America. And then dial it back, they did the exact thing, the reverse marketing. And we were suddenly learning in school, everyone did the DARE program, and they kind of stomped out cigarette smoking.
With the dog.
Yeah, they kind of stomped out cigarette smoking in America. And that's actually a joke that Europeans make. Americans don't smoke cigarettes. And
why I love
so we
London.
know that advertising works.
And that's crazy. What she's saying, I remember, and a lot of people that's my age, around my age, we remember where when you go into a restaurant, they would ask you, smoking or non-smoking? If you went, and there's still places where you can go to a hotel and they would ask you if you want smoking or non-smoking. And so what she's saying is that there was a time where we were programmed that smoking was cool. In America, it got to the point where smoking wasn't cool. Smoking cigarettes wasn't cool. Now look at what everybody is doing now. Everybody is vaping. You know, before vaping, everybody was trying to chew nicotine gum and put on nicotine patches and all kind of crazy ass shit. So this is what she was giving this whole thing of what we think that is cool. We're being programmed to think through the powers that be. I guess that's how you would put it, the powers that be. So, all right. Braxton says, and What We Know podcast, well, thanks, OG, sir, but my words really doesn't carry any meaning. It's as useless and lame as me overall, cause I'm not smart at all. I'm pretty much stupid, but thank you, sir. Man, if you don't get the fuck out of here, get the entire fuck out of here. If you think that you're stupid, then I don't know what to tell you, because it starts with you, homie. And you know, over here, What We Know podcast and on the Black Man Unfiltered, man, we take your words and we will speak and have conversations over whatever it is that you say. We're not going to sit back and just call you stupid or nothing like that. You are very much intelligent, sir. So no, I disagree with what you just said. All right, man, let's go back over here and get to this video right here.
Know that you can influence behavior. And that's why I say bring back cigarettes, because now I feel that when the kids were trying to rebel against their parents when we were young, people were like smoking cigarettes, maybe smoking a joint. Now they're like, I'm non-binary, and kind of being sent down this pathway, which for those who really are just struggling with adolescence, there isn't really a way back. So if your child came to you at 17, Ray J, and said, I am born into the wrong body, and I want to take puberty blockers, what would you say?
Well, as a parent, man, my kids are 4 and 6. You don't really know how you're gonna react, but I know for me, I want to be the parent. My kids I want them to be able to tell me anything, like the darkest, the most complicated, like what they're really going through internally, externally. So I would be super open for super support, right? That's the kind of dad I am. Even with my son, he's 4, but there's been times where he's been around and we were shooting, whether it's a movie or something, and there was a lot of women around, and he said, Dad, I love the girls, right? And I went, okay, got it. I mean, I don't know if I should.
This is why I don't like this dude. The fuck is he talking about? But let's keep going.
Bring him in now because you're only 4, so I wouldn't do that. But hey, that's what you like right now. You came to me and said it. You even told your mom, where are the girls at, Dad, in front of moms? I said, son, we gotta, and so I would just be.
And keep in mind, this person that's right next to him, look how big this guy is. This nigga is huge. Look how big he is over Ray J. Talking about some damn woman shit. I might want to hear this bullshit, Ray J. You already said that you will be a motherfucking panderer. That's basically what this shit is. Let's keep going.
Be there for them. And I think as society grows and as everybody gains more knowledge, and you have friends, right? I have friends that are straight, I have friends that are gay, I have friends that are trans, and these are my close friends. And so me personally, I don't care, but I also understand that it's for them to make the choice, not for them to be programmed into a choice that they might not be familiar with, and they're just following the trend, right? So that's where you straddle the line with everything with marketing and promo. But for me, I mean, I'm in full support of whatever my kids want to do, and
Heroin.
Well, I mean, not that.
Pornography.
Not
That's
that.
not comparable.
But I'm saying,
He said
like,
I'm in full support of whatever my kids want to do, and it is
meaning
comparable.
meaning like if they were doing that, please come tell me.
Yeah.
So I can help you. Like, don't push me out to where.
Please come tell me so I can do it with you. What the fuck is you talking about, Ray J?
Where you don't.
Don't worry about it. Candace will get him.
Feel comfortable with telling your dad that you got a problem, right? So, yes, I will be in full support of listening to them and helping them. So, as honest as they can be, I want to be the dad to make them feel like anytime I'm going down, anytime I'm going up, whatever.
And by the way, this guy right here has had both his parents in his life, but he still can't seem to get that shit right. All the money in the fucking world, and he still can't get it right. This nigga just sucks, man. He sucks.
I'm going to always hit my dad and tell him what's going on.
I'd like to, I would love to say, I would love for you to comment on that, because you said it's not comparable to your kid participating in pornography, and it's not comparable to your kid doing heroin.
Right.
Why would you say that?
I just wanted to piggyback as well off the cigarette. Like, I'm giggling in my head because it's true. Like, I have to agree with.
Hell yeah. He said Ray J is trying to sell sunglasses and Apple Pay to the Apple Pay community. Absolutely. He's always trying to do shit. But Ray J ain't shit, man. Fuck him. I ain't gonna even lie either, man. Shout out to you, brother. Most definitely. Let's keep going.
Even like in my hometown, it's just, whoa, all of a sudden everyone's a smoker. Where did that come from? So I did it kind of giggle at that point, but I want to just make it very clear, and I'm going to open up a can of worms here, because let's be honest, and I said at the start of the interview, I'm trans and I'm speaking for myself. So I'm an individual. So you might be with me and be like, okay, like she's got some points, like whatever, and someone else could come across as literally crazy to you. So once again, I can only speak from my perspective, but I want to make it very clear that there's 2 points. So with the whole, where did all this trans and non-binary come from? We have to remember that as a society, we are forever evolving, and sometimes that's in not the best ways, let's be honest, because sometimes the world's becoming something that we wish it wasn't. But also we were in a place of not only oppression, but where people were, it's like that silence or the gag order where you can't speak up, depending on jobs and discrimination and serving for the country, whatever it may be. So a lot of people, it's been documented that were suffering in silence, and they weren't able to do what we can now because we live in a world where it's more accepted. But to piggyback over that point, I also want to make a statement that as a trans person myself, I'm shocked sometimes because I see all these people now that are under the trans umbrella, and I say the trans umbrella because that shocks me sometimes, where they're like, I'm trans, and I will see them in public like hiking, presenting as a boy with a beard. And I'm shook.
So you would
because
say
it's like, that's not me.
So they're not
And
being transparent.
I don't want to make it like a physicality thing, because I know people instantly read people like me saying I've got pretty privilege, I'm passing privilege, I'm white privilege, and all these other privileges, but it's not about that for me. What it's about is that I want people to understand that being trans, and if you truly are trans, it's a journey that should happen between you and your parents and, you know, the medical practitioner, and it shouldn't be something that's sensationalized in a circus act. It should be down to the individual, and I feel like if you hit all those points and it's meant to be, there would be less. So I can kind of agree with what you're saying in that sense, because when I sit in the room with someone else that claims trans, and I'm like looking at them like, come on, be for real. But now I can't even say that.
So some people are faking it.
Well,
it's just a social contagion, which is what I was saying. So social contagions are real, and
but
actually,
I want to specify on that it's a social contagion for that. I can understand what you're saying, but that's for the people that are adding on to the community that I don't feel are genuine. I feel like that's the difference.
So I would disagree with that, and I disagree virtually with Bill Maher on everything. But even he did a segment. Obviously, he's on the left. I guess he would consider himself to be an ally of the LGBTQ plus community, and he showed a map of transgenderism across the United States. And he said, well, if this is not a social contagion, can you explain to me why so many kids in LA are trans and yet kids in Ohio? And he showed it on the map, and well, that shows you it's a social contagion. Because just to bring back the session, I'll get that clip to you later where he shows the map of the trends where transgenderism is happening. And obviously in that clip, he's talking about puberty blockers. And you said you were 17, that you then realized there was something else that was going on with you. But, you know, just speaking about the development of the human brain, your brain is literally not developed at 17 years old, right? You are not a formed person at 17. 17-year-old Ray J, 17-year-old Candace. Think about how much
I started at 18. Sorry, I just wanted to specify. 17 was grade 12 for me, and then I started at 18. And in Australia, 18 is legal, not 21.
Legal and brain development are two totally different things.
For sure.
Yeah, so you can go to war, all that stuff.
But I mean, kids are drinking at 15.
That's totally fine.
You know, which I don't support, by the way.
Right, but just to be clear, your brain is not fully, like the human mind is not fully developed until 26 years old, right?
I think the experience of the human gets better. So your experience makes you have more knowledge, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean that you aren't your greatest at 18 and 19.
Shut the fuck up, man. What are you talking about, man? What's going on, boy? Freezy in the motherfucking building. No captivity. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Most definitely, most definitely, most definitely. This nigga over here, Ray J, is talking straight up bullshit. Hell yeah, Eater, man. That damn transparency bullshit that he's coming. I have no idea where this guy is going anymore. He's getting older and he's getting dumber as he's getting older, man. Most definitely.
In 20, you know, those are the
And
moments.
I was in full knowledge of like my thoughts and in control over that, because you have to remember to take it back. This is not a decision that I made like some random, like, oh, you know what? I want to be a girl at 17 and started 18. To me, I'm too smart for that. That's reckless. I don't think that that's wise. Like, you've got to marinate in the decision. And that's what the advice that I give to people all the time. This is not something that you click your fingers for. This for me was over a decade. So when I made my choice at 18, I totally get what you're saying with brain development. But for me, it was just finally time, because I had all of that time. And this is a lifestyle, like I told you, I didn't even care that other people were calling me she and her 24/7, because I knew how I felt.
But that was, you like that.
Of course I did, but
also
embarrassment came with that, because I was all, oh, you know, the kids would laugh.
When did you decide to do the full?
The full change was at 19 and a half. I say 19 and a half, a year and a half later.
Oh,
so
really?
You went from this is my decision at 17, 18 to I'm going to go under the knife. And did you get bottom surgery?
No, that was my first surgery. I had breast augmentation. And then a few years after that, I had SRS, which is also known as being post-op trans or sex change or gender reassignment surgery. There's so many different names.
Why did you choose, and as your first surgery, to get breast augmentation?
To be honest, and I will be very honest about this, when I got breast augmentation, I felt like it was almost like something that I needed for a visualization of a female, like it's sensationalized in the sense that, oh, I want large breasts because that'll make me more beautiful. And I'm proud of myself that many years later that I can look back and kind of be like, I actually didn't need that, because I had hormone breast growth of the equivalent to like a B carb, and I was actually had like great breasts.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're at the same time that you're saying that you were able to make this mature decision to go under the knife or to recognize that you were not a male, I guess would be, I hope I'm okay. You're also admitting that you did something kind of childish, right? I mean, to say I need big boobs because I'm a girl,
childish.
that I wouldn't do that. I'm an actual woman, right? So I wouldn't do that because that just sounds to me like someone who's playing dress up. Like that just sounds to me
it's definitely not.
like because
it wasn't a costume.
But that is because the first thing, if you genuinely thought like this is who I am, the first thing you do is get boobs. That's to me just like this is what it means to be a girl.
Right. But we're talking about
very,
surgically the first thing I did.
But that to me is a costume because women have all different breast size. There are some women that are completely pancakes.
I don't care what y'all think about Candace Owens. And for that matter, a lot of these women that's coming where we don't really, you know, me personally, I kind of dig Candace Owens. I kind of dig her. You know what I'm saying? Some things I don't agree with what she say, but when it comes down to these things right here, this is where women, I have no idea of what the fuck y'all thinking about right now if y'all sitting back telling these men that they are fucking women. It makes no fucking sense. And I can say that about the women, but tonight is more about the focus on men. If you thinking like Ray J is thinking right now, men, then go ahead and grab the thumper and bop yourself. You can go. These motherfuckers are infiltrators. And when you have a woman that's speaking up, the least that we can do as men is to at least put this shit on the forefront and support this shit right here, because you got a bunch of fucking men that don't want to be men no more, and they think that being a motherfucking woman is the alternative. No, it's not. He's just a shitty ass man. That's why I tell people, I you know, me personally, I don't subscribe to this whole thing of what's a real man and what's not a real man. Fuck all that shit. You either a shitty ass man or you a man that's out here doing what he needs to do as a man. I don't give a fuck if you put titties on you, if you cut your dick off and make it out of a vagina, it's still not a vagina. You still got a prostate. It is what it is. I have a problem with men like Ray J supporting this bullshit. And then he wants to continue to say that he's a fucking man. Bop yourself, homie. Grab the thumper and bop yourself. I don't care what nobody's saying. Grab the thumper and bop yourself, my nigga. He sucked. Any man that's running on this whole wave right here where they keep supporting this bullshit, you know what I'm saying? You a shitty ass man. This is why I don't subscribe to the whole thing of, you know, we have the conversation and it'd be Semitics and shit like that. You got dudes that talk about, you know, in the women, a real man this and a real man that. Nope. Nigga, you ain't out to running. You still a fucking man. You just a shitty man. You the lowest on the totem pole. That's what you are. Still a man. Okay, how much you try to act like a woman, I'ma still call you a man. You're just a shitty ass man. You suck at being a man. You a dropout. You're a fucking dropout. And when I look at people like Ray J, they dropouts too. These motherfuckers is dropouts, man. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm talking about, what up, boy? Say Your Light podcast. in the building. What's going on with you, my guy? Most definitely. I'm glad you came over here. You gave me a little look, put some eyes on me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm talking about. Most definitely, man. Thanks for coming over this, bro, man. Make sure you hit that like button, bro. Most definitely. Let's keep going, y'all.
So that have huge boobs.
I got a new song coming out called Pity for Me.
Stop
So no, it's all
but
kinda
that's why I take ownership over the fact that what I'm saying is not being a costume and not copying anyone or anything like that. It was a decision made by me that I thought I needed, and it wasn't any deep regret. It was just later on I was like, I just don't need that size because I knew I needed. But the thing is, we have to be specific that my own friends that are born female have the same thing. Like my best friend literally hates her implants, but she's not a costume.
No, but she's doing that for a different reason, and this kind of gets to my point. You said that after, and I want to slow this down because I'm making a point that I would like you to understand. You said that once you realized that you were a female, you felt that you were a female, and you were in the wrong body. The first thing you did was do something that does not make someone a female, right? That you just were like, I'm gonna get boobs. So that to me shows a tremendous immaturity, right? Now, when other women do this, they're just like, I want to look like Kim Kardashian. This is a trend. Da, da, da,
But
da.
why am
But they're
I
not
not
doing it because they're going, I'm not a woman. Do you get what I'm
No,
saying?
but it is though, because my best friend literally got implants because she and I quote, she was like, I feel like a boy because I've got no boobs.
Some women
That's
want
literally
bigger
what she
breasts, and some
said.
people I don't mind little breasts or big breasts, but women want to
And
go
that's
get
what they say.
Right, but
So
they're doing
they
that
attach it
because
to masculinity.
it's. But you're saying masculinity and femininity are two different things.
Right.
They don't attach it to whether or not they are in fact they would never go to the doctor and say, if I don't get these boobs,
right,
I'm a male.
No, but
right?
I didn't
you
think
did
that. I was talking about aesthetically pleasing. That was my point.
But that,
oh my gosh, I
actually-
love that.
Well, that once, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to say this.
But
That
it's
to
never a
me
costume
is to me that's a costume, and that's why I call, and this is why I feel that it's woman face. It's an idea. It's like this is what I believe women are because I'm scrolling through, and I'm giving you a modern example. Obviously, Instagram was not around when you were doing this. I'm scrolling through Instagram, and I think that the hottest girl on Instagram is Sophia Richie. So what do I have to do to look like Sophia Richie, and that's going to make me a woman? That to me is woman face, right? That doesn't make, so yes, you're saying there's aesthetics to it, and that is the reason why you will see women all across LA. It's like
Exactly.
standard practice.
For me, it was
they will
the
get there. But it's the aesthetic.
Different
of it.
countries
But I
things too.
exactly, for me, once again, because I can only speak from a personal point of view, it was the aesthetic of it. Just like my girlfriend, like I stated, that's how she felt as a born female. But the costume for me, because you're using that, and that is something that gets thrown around in it.
It's already fucked up. Once they start saying a born female, binary, when they start using those words and they start looking at you women as that you are a different type of women than they are, that's where y'all subscribe to it. That's where we had a problem at. If you don't cut this shit off and just tell them that you're not a fucking woman, period. You're a dropout. You still a fucking man. You're a shitty man. Figuratively and literally. Quit playing with yourself. You're not a fucking woman. You're a goofy ass fucking man. And you ain't delusional. You know what the fuck you doing. You know what the fuck you doing. You're an infiltrator. You're a predator. That's right, I said it. You're a fucking predator. And when you got guys like Ray J that's sitting back and he's championing this shit and he's monetizing this shit himself, he's a shitty man. That's just what it is. All his homeboys should be ousting his ass. Basically where, you know where that movie, not the movie, it was a series, ATL. Matter of fact, the video is going back viral again when a nigga was in, if y'all ever watched the series ATL and the motherfucker was in the prison not prison, they was in jail and they was getting booked. And the nigga sat there and he saw his girlfriend sitting there and his ex-girlfriend or whatever. And they got to talking. And all the niggas was looking at him talking to this motherfucker, talking about he loved her and all that. They said, you do understand that's a motherfucking man. Nigga said, she ain't no motherfucking man. They say, nigga, she on the men's side. What are you talking about? And the nigga came, and if y'all ever heard any of the things, I got it. I don't have it on my board right here, but a lot of niggas, nigga, you gay. When you hit it, that's where it came from, that series of ATL. You gay. Ray J, you fucking gay. Diddy done came out. You might as well come out too, homie. You might as well come out too. Braxton says, when I was 11, I was watching, what'd you say? Watching TV and came across a documentary of Samoa Island. The Samoa Island. Oh, okay. That was that has a culture, believe it, in the third gender called Fama. See, if you would have came up here, I would have understood what you were saying. Some of these boys are raised to be women. Yeah. But in order for that to happen, it has to be women that have done it. And men like Ray J that champion it. But I get what you're saying. Let's keep going. I'm going to play a little bit more of this and then I'm going to go to my last video and then I'm about to get the hell up out of here. I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Let's go.
Our community, I want to specify how I see the costume because I actually agree with that terminology and I hate when people treat being trans like a costume because they do it, but it's just not in that scenario. A costume.
Where the fuck is this person from too? Because that is not British accent. That's not a dialect of, that's not even in the Amazon. I don't know. Where the hell is this accent coming from?
Costume to me is how I specified before, where people are going around saying I'm trans and they want to reap the benefits of being a trans, let's say, activist or getting jobs as a trans spokesperson, whatever it may be. And then you see them at the corner store and it's like literally like, whoa, did you detransition overnight? That's what I see as a costume.
So they went back to being...
Well, it's just what she said. It can be a costume.
Fafafini?
This isn't a costume. I can't rip it all up. I know I'm in glam now because I love glam and, you know, I like to feel and look good, smell good, whatever. But at home, no makeup on, hair up in a bun is giving woman, is giving what it is.
Okay, so
it's not a costume for
You
me.
genuinely believe that you're a woman?
100%. Do I think I'm a born female biological woman? Absolutely not. I'm a trans woman and I'm well aware that I'm not a biological woman. And I want to make...
No, nigga, you are a man. You ain't no damn trans nothing. You a transformer, a infiltrator. But the women, take that shit out your fucking dialects.
That statement very loud.
That's a good...
Because that's where it gets crossed and where I think trans people need to come to the table is understanding that and letting biological women know that we're well aware we're trans women.
Biological women. You see how they put that shit on y'all? Oh, you are a woman. They are men. You see how they push you over? That's crazy as fuck. All y'all got to do is just say the word, and the man is going. Niggas going. They going react. But as long as y'all be on their side and y'all champion this shit, you get what the fuck you get. Let's keep going.
And if people are out there saying anything otherwise, that's something that I don't want to back.
Right.
Because
so now we're bridging the gaps.
Right.
Now we're bridging the gap, Candace.
Yeah. I'm well aware of who I am and what I am.
This nigga said we bridging the gaps. Something wrong with Ray J. And it ain't the drug. I'm not blaming it on the drugs. I think this nigga he's special. He needs to ride the super short bus with 2 seats on that. The driver and him. This nigga is on, he something wrong with this dude, man. That's why I don't know, I was on whatever panel I was on. I said, he don't get Ray J no more. He get Brandy little brother.
Do you, Ray J, believe that Danielle is a woman?
Yes. I've never once, even every time we talk.
That's what makes, I mean, somebody needs to smack the shit out of him. Yes. Yes. He should be light skinned. No, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. For all my light skinned brothers, I'm just bullshit with y'all.
I've always said Danielle, that's what it is. Like, and all of my friends that are in the community, I mean, we have a whole Gagency, right? Shout out to Tarad and Dumpin' D. It's the full Gagency, right? And then we have the Girls Club, right?
That's facts.
There's different layers and different things that people like to do in their world that they like to be outside of work. But when we all come to work, everybody's on time, everybody's on point. What happens after work? I mean, it ain't, you know what I'm saying? I could only imagine what some of my other friends do. Some of my boom operators and camera guys, they real freaks, right? So who knows what they doing? All I know is that when we did the Girls Club, we shot it in Agora Hills.
Yeah.
It was a lot of intense drama. You know, everybody was trying to tell their story. So it got really dramatic, and it was a lot of like physical altercation. So we had to call another security team in. Security team got there.
What's going on, Coach Ferg, man? What's poppin' with your boy? I was talking about your favorite era, man. A couple of about an hour ago, the crack era. I'm gonna have you on the panel, and we gonna talk a little more about that whole thing, the crack era, whatever, man. But we gonna keep going with this bullshit right here before I get to my last video.
And the security team ended up falling in love with all the girls there. So they never left. So the security team would hang out with the girls after the set. And when it was 8 o'clock call time, they just got out the bed and went to work, got dressed, right? Because everybody's...
Was his security team fucking niggas? Is that what he was just talking about? Nigga, you gay.
Start locking in. And that showed me that, you know, people after work and people in their own time is going to love doing what they do.
So I just want to be clear. Danielle, I think you're a very kind person. You're a very open person. I'm just so happy that you're willing to have this discussion. But Ray J, when you say that you believe...
And shout out to the security team.
You believe that Danielle is a woman. You believe that I am a woman.
I believe, like she said, she's a trans woman.
Okay.
And she made it very clear that they understand the difference.
Why would this nigga get anybody to come to any concert that this nigga would do? This nigga sucks, man.
But if
what
somebody
is the difference? That's what I'd like you to answer, AJ. Ray J.
What is the difference? Well, I would say what's the difference is what you have. Like what's on you. You know what I mean? And there is really no difference but what your preference is outside of work. Outside of us coming together and doing what we need to do to finish the goal at hand.
No, but what is the difference between me and Danielle?
She's a trans woman and you're a
And the biology.
biological woman. Is that what? Yeah, because I'm still every day on it, right?
Right, asked a lot of
But
questions.
you're getting educated on speech rather than being educated on what you know to be right and
Well,
wrong.
no, I know. Well, not right and wrong. I just know what's the difference.
So if you have to differentiate, and I'm glad that you are, because I do think that that's much more respectful than where a lot of people are coming from, who self-identify as transgendered. But if you have to delineate, if you have to say, I'm a trans woman and Candace is a woman, then that necessarily means that we are not the same, right? We are something different.
I think everybody is different. Every human is different. Nobody's the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody's
And I
the
feel
same.
like even I wanted to double on that point is with intersex, let's be honest, a lot of people just back in the day used to say hermaphrodite and now it's known as intersex. Hermaphrodite and then now grammatically correct is intersex.
Grammatically correct?
Yeah, and I'm learning too, mind you, because I had to learn what intersex
Because
was.
hermaphrodite is when you got
When you're born with basically both organs or XY chromosomes mixed and things like that. So it's not just I'm going to take a hormone, it's actually the way you're born.
So what does that mean?
So that basically it makes the topic of trans actually more complex because a lot of people now that are intersex identify under the trans umbrella. So it can get very tricky in conversation because one point I wanted to make is that I have often wondered, and maybe we could film this one day because I actually don't know, but my family have actually pulled me aside and said based on the way I look, move in my whole journey, that they wanted to get a test to see if I was actually intersex because it would make more sense with my whole journey, the way I look and the way that my life has unfolded. But it's a very expensive test from what I've heard, and I never had that done. Yeah. So that's what...
And to be clear...
Yeah, and that's when it does start to change because as you can...
Wrong when somebody is born
But why is
intersex.
that wrong? Because it's like...
wrong.
But
I
we
think
all
it's just
believe... Yeah, we all believe that
I
God
seen a
created
snake and it had
us.
2 heads.
But I feel like that could also
Or a
be...
cow that had
That's
2
God's
heads together.
creation because I'm
not saying the person being alive is wrong. I am saying that genetically speaking, there are tons of things that can go wrong. It's like, people, when something happens because of who you're married to and your genes are lining up in a different way, and some people can be born
special.
Blind in one eye. This, that, this. There are tons of things.
One of my dogs was blind, but he was moving
people
around.
are born
He
different.
was biting people.
Okay, but
that
is not, intersex is not transgenderism because transgenderism, everything has gone just right. And at some point in that person's life, they just make a decision to say that I want to start living as this opposite sex that I was not born as. And that is why I say this is a mental disorder, okay? I don't view an intersex person as having a mental disorder.
So let me ask you guys. Give me a 1 in the chat if you think that transgenderism is if transgenderism is a mental illness, or 2 if it's not.
But I view a transgendered individual as having a mental disorder, and I'll ask you a question: is Rachel Dolezal black?
Pardon?
Is Rachel Dolezal black?
If you guys don't know who Rachel Dolezal is that she was the president of a chapter in the NAACP, and she posed as a black woman for a couple of years. And then comes to find out that she's not black. She was white. She lost her job and all kind of other shit happened. She lost all kind of other shit that was going on. She ended up getting to the point where she had to go to OnlyFans and start showing a booty hole. Look her up, Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal, if you don't know who she is. That's who they're talking about right now. Let's go.
Rachel Dolezal, if you're not familiar, is the woman who was wearing dark makeup and was leading the NAACP, had grown her hair out kinky into an afro, and then it turned out that her parents spoke.
It was a chapter in the NAACP. It was not the whole AACP.
Out, and she's basically as white as they come, and she just was dressing every day as a black person and passing as black and leading the NAACP.
Yeah.
And everyone in the community.
I don't know her, so I don't want to comment on that.
No, I want you to comment because
she was just
very simple.
I feel like I know what.
So she was just wearing makeup.
I feel like that's inappropriate, and I feel like going back to what you said before, that is a perfect example of costuming.
Okay, well.
Because
that seems very unfair and it feels judgmental, because to me, if you're going to say that you felt that despite the fact that you were born a male, that you felt on the inside that you were something else, and then you went through steps to present as that something else. Right. And then when I say, what about Rachel Dolezal? Yeah. Rachel Dolezal says that she felt her whole life that she was born in the wrong skin color and that these weren't really her parents. And
pay attention, y'all.
So she started presenting as black. I just don't see how you can be ideologically consistent, because no one will accept Rachel Dolezal because that's blackface. How could you say this? But you're sitting here like, well, I demand that I get, that, like, and I'm saying you as the larger community, because I don't think you're being demanding at all in this moment. But it's just, do you see the hypocrisy of saying that a woman can't just, like, why can't a white girl say she's black?
I get what you're saying, and I see how people would compare that. But my thing is, once again, is when we want to have conversations about things, it's never just.
Well, this is not about Rachel Dolezal. Let me go back.
Just like if I want to be called Killer Poom Poom,
So
y'all gotta call me the name I want.
At least you're being consistent. You're not being consistent. So at least you're saying that yes, any person can just say whatever they are, and we have to accept it. If they feel deep down and they went through middle school and they felt that they were black, then we have to suddenly pretend.
I'm not saying that I would disrespect her for saying, like, I wouldn't be like, you're not, because to be honest, that's got nothing to do with me. But if you ask the question, it is costuming. And that's going back to what we said before, which is a major issue, is that the lines get blurred because of...
They don't get blurred. The lines don't get blurred. Motherfuckers, if you're being honest, you're going to call it for what it is. When you look at this guy and you tell him you a man, ain't none of that other shit. If you out here trying to be politically correct, you always going to be fucked up. Quit being politically correct sometimes. It just don't work for us. Start time to be just honest. You ain't even got to be brutally honest. Just be honest. And let people take it for whatever they're going to take it. My only point is this. We as men got to stop kowtowing to this bullshit that's going on and being in the middle of bullshit. If we going to be fucking enemies, we might as well be enemies to the people doing something that we consider to be righteous. I'm not about to sit back and champion anything that goes against the femininity or the masculinity of both women and men. It's not going to work if you just have men trying to fight and you just have women that's trying to fight, because motherfuckers trying to be politically correct. It ain't working no more. Better pick a fucking side. Quit being lukewarm. A message to men. We can't afford to have this bullshit to destroy us anymore. What we need to be is back to the roots of who we are. Full-fledged men. Everything that comes down to us building ourselves is always going to take pain. There's a saying, no pain, no gain. Integrity comes from doing things even when no one else is looking. Even when you don't feel like doing it, you do it. That's part of being a man. You go to the gym, you don't go to the gym because it's fun and you want to just be at the fucking gym. You go to the gym because it's something that you want, that you have to do because you're trying to get fit. Whether you're trying to get your muscles together, trying to get your cardio together, you're trying to get your mind together, whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's because you have to do it. That's what integrity is. I don't know a man that sit back and just be like, I just love going to the gym. They'll sit back and psych themselves up on saying that shit. That ain't how that shit go with us. Greater or good. We end up being better people because of pain. We end up being sharper because of failures. We get a second swing at it, a third swing at it. You try and try again. Look at sports. I could tell you right now, Football, basketball, soccer, rugby, any of these sports that's boxing, wrestling, those are all sports of pain. You ain't never 100% when you playing these sports. You always injured. My daughters, they were in gymnastics. My youngest daughter, she always had problems with her arms, her wrists, her legs. But she was dope when it came down to doing those doggone, when she had to go out here and compete. She went through pain. She didn't do it because it brings joy to her. No, she did it because she wanted to be better. My other daughter was a runner. She in track. Pain. They're both older now. And they're learning that it takes pain and failure for us to be successful. Because we learn how not to go that same route anymore. Where they learn that shit from? Men. It ciphers through one another. But that's a masculine trait. Us as men, this is how we get down. I mean, I don't care what anybody say. We sitting here having these fucking conversations, crossing our legs and all that shit. Shit is fucking us up. Get your ass back outside, man. Do some dangerous shit. As little boys, I remember when I think about it, like being a grown man, I ain't about to do a triple somersault off of a fucking dripper edge of a fucking roof. But I did it as a kid. Knocked the wind out myself too. Did a whole bunch of shit where I hurt myself. Got all kind of scars on my face, on my arms, my legs. When I got on that basketball court, I was dope as hell though. When I got in that boxing ring, the courage. That's what it took. Right now, we got motherfuckers, Ray J and all these other motherfuckers that are sitting back and kowtowing to all this goddamn, it ain't even feminine shit. This is dumb shit. Stupid shit. The men are sitting back and trying to kowtow to. Oh, fuck that. We need to get back to boys being boys and girls being girls. To be able to equalize the balance. To equalize this. And that's not having infiltrators sitting back saying all the dumb shit that they saying. Women being women and men being women. This is the thing. This is how our relationships get better. Fellas, you can't attract a woman by sitting back talking about your fucking feelings to her. You attract that woman and you keep that woman by being the man you are. As you get older, you get a little more settled. You ain't as, as when you teenager and all of that, man, we have a lot of energy that we exude. When you get older, you just start to spread your energy out. That's how it's supposed to go. But you don't spread your energy into feminine energy, nigga. Nah, you some bullshit, man. If you ain't never got punched in your mouth, you need to take some type of fighting course. Boxing, MMA, something like that. I'm talking about men. If you ain't never felt what it feels like to get your eye dotted, it builds character. Get your ass in the ring with somebody. Get in there and do the best that you can. You're going to get knocked the fuck out, but don't worry about it. You're going to be all right. Builds character. So with this next video that I'm going to play, this is my last video I'm going to play. This came from my boy, Hemp, DJ Hemp, The Stampede. He has a show, podcast. This Might Be Risky podcast. Go and subscribe to my man. He did something that resonated with me, and it was on a fella by the name of Andrew Tate. And it kind of intrigued me. Even though I knew what Andrew Tate was before, before he was on Fresh and Fit and, doing podcasts and stuff like that, kind of knew him and his brother, Tristan Tate, that these brothers was out here kickboxers, right? I knew a little bit about them. I knew a lot more about them once I seen them on, their own podcast, Fresh and Fit, and a couple of other podcasts that was out there. But this video here, what my man Hemp did, it kind of, it raised my eyebrows. I was just like, God damn, Hemp. I had to text my man. I put a comment on the video. You can go over there where you see the video on This Might Be Risky. And I told him, I said, I needed to hear that this morning. It was early in the morning when I seen it too. I think as soon as about 15 minutes after he posted it, and I watched it on my way to work. And this was a video that I'm like, damn, I really need to hear this. It wasn't so much of what Andrew Tate was saying, which was, when you see the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it was more of what he said at the end of the video that was dope to me. But I'm gonna play this for you guys, and this is gonna be my last video before we get up out of here, man. But just pay attention to what this video actually is saying. But it was pretty dope. So let's get into it, man. Shout out to my boy Hemp the Stampede. This Might Be Risky. Let's go.
I don't do this for fun. This is not a sport to me. I don't enjoy it. I hate training. I hate fighting. This is I was born for this. I have no choice. I'm in it to kill. That's it. Pain. That's all I know.
What about your last fight tonight? What's going to happen?
I don't care. Put someone in front of me. Put someone in front of me. That's all I have to say.
Oh my goodness, he hurt Rose then! A nice rare, isn't it?
Now, Wendell's gone in the heavyweights and never been wobbled. Standing toe-to-toe with him.
I'm absolutely mesmerised by the performance so far.
It's great, isn't it? It's much better.
Yeah.
Also, Wendell.
He's going to go desperate though, isn't he?
He is.
Rochet.
Never seen Wendell so shocked. In the corner. Surprised. Now Tate's fought him so far, but still dangerous. Good knee, taking him apart. There's that body shot, great body shot.
Again, Wendell wobbles back. Combination from Tate. Really starting to take the toll on Rochet.
Good knee.
He's really okay. Back on in his back left point backwards. That's a good hit from Tate. Well blocked by Zarbo. From Zarbo. Again, this is cheating.
Performance up now. This is what we need to see.
He's doing another round.
That's the infamous Andrew Tate. I think a lot of people kind of know him from the quote-unquote red pill manosphere. I don't even know if he accepts that terminology or to be under that umbrella, but I think a lot of people seen him on different shows.
And to be fair, he does not. Let me just say that right quick. He does not. He's never went through that whole red pill manosphere bullshit, but people have put that jacket on him and he just didn't fight it. But you know, that's just what it is. Let's go, Hamp.
You know, talking about manhood and things of that nature. So a lot of people may or may not know, but he was actually a professional kickboxer before the whole blow up of him being the most popular man on the internet. Andrew Tate, born 1986, 6'3", 205 pounds. Storm Gym is what he fought out of. I just want to make sure y'all understand. So this is him when he's a little bit younger, obviously had hair on his head and shit like that. And then his record, kickboxing record, total fights 86, wins 76, by knockout 32, 8 losses, 1 draw, no contest.
Look at that motherfucker. That is very impressive, bro. 86 fights, 76 wins. He only lost 8. And then he had 1 draw and 1 no contest. I guarantee the draw, the 8 losses was at the beginning of his career. You're going to understand what I mean after you see this video.
So 86 fights means you're a serious competitor. I just want to make sure that y'all understood the landscape when we go into Andrew Tate versus 60 men. So he runs these boot camps, so to speak, the real world portal. So a bunch of men go, they learn about courting women, attracting women, being attractive as a man in the earth. And then there's other things that seem to be a little bit more fruitful in terms of being a successful person in the earth. So all these different growth strategies, tools to maximize money in the journey that is life itself. I haven't looked too much into it, but I just want to make sure that y'all had context when you see what's about to happen with Andrew Tate versus 60 men. There goes Andrew, sitting, getting ready, seems like focusing up to get the face off, you know, to everybody who's at, you know, him as a mentor. So they kind of looks like a couple people walking in. This may be the first thing they're actually doing at the boot camp itself. Looks like they kind of just meeting him. So I know they have a lot of classroom sit downs and things of that nature. They're doing a little bit of due diligence. So it looks like now they're coming into the gym. Okay. Now they're having a real boot camp workout here.
This is crazy, bro. This is very intense. It's not just showing these men how to attract women, but it's showing these men how to be fucking men to the highest that you can be. They're training these men. This nigga had taken on 60 in one day. Now, he did 60 rounds fighting 60 men per round. And you about to see some shit, man. This is some dope. This is that man shit that we be talking about right here. Watch this shit, y'all.
Push up. So it looks like they're doing a workout, apparently. And so this is a part of the boot camp. So I think what's about to happen is they're working out, and then one by one, they're going to go in the ring with Andrew. Let's see how he fares. I don't give a damn. 60 men is a lot more than if it was mixed company. And even if they tired or not, let's see who has some skills, see who can stand the test. This is actually pretty interesting.
Hands up, bro, hands up.
And they got some sparring going. Body shot hurt.
Fight, come on.
So obviously, these guys don't got no experience. Or minimal experience, I should say. But this is tough.
This one here.
Okay. I don't know. He don't really know what he's doing, but a little bit.
Good. Good. Good hook.
So I got to expect.
Now, keep in mind also, one of the things is that, and I understand why Hemp is putting this one out, because of a lot of his content. He talks to men and he talks to women. And one of the things is that there's a lot of men that talk a lot of shit on fucking YouTube, right? On these panels. He came up with an idea. Hemp said, well, fuck it. You know, we see all of this motherfuckers got all this goddamn heat for one another on YouTube on these panels. Hemp said, well, let's start getting the gloves out. Let's do the meetup. Let's get these cats out here to start fighting and and things like that. Let me tell you what. They had, I think, 2 or 3 of them right now. They had to meet up when motherfuckers was going up there and they was putting the gloves on. When they had a little smoke for each other. It changed the game. Because this is what it's about with men. Trust me when I tell you, women. This is what it's about with men. All that sitting on these panels and talking shit and I fuck you up and all that shit. Like, I was just on my boy, and shout out to my boy No Captivity with Freezy. Some niggas that was over there, they was talking smoke. They was talking about they was gonna fuck each other up and all this shit. I said, I'll set it up right now. I'll call somebody right now. We can set it up. Niggas wasn't trying to get that smoke with each other, bro. There's a study out here that they had put out. They say motherfuckers will sit back and they have their prowess of talking about how good they can fight is up to 400% more than what they can fight, they can actually do. The majority of you niggas can't fight. The majority of y'all niggas can't fight. That's why y'all have to go and get the guns. Y'all talk shit about niggas like Andrew Tate and niggas that's actually saying, no, I'm about it for real. Niggas that's been in there. I've been in the gym. I've had my mouth bloody. I had my eyes fucked up. I done been in fights, man. I know what it means. Ain't never been knocked out, but I ain't never had that much time. If I've been in there, I fought myself boxing. I fought for 6 years. Never been knocked out, but I didn't have my house, my clock rocked many a times, even in sparring. But I understand what it is when you get out there. I've been into fist fights, street fights, all kind of crazy ass shit. I needed to be in those things. Because it helps me move in the world. I'm 53 years old, damn near about to be 53 years old. And thus far, I'm still here. That could have been very easy that I can be no longer not doing this. I wouldn't be in front of this microphone or nothing like that because I didn't experience shit in life. And I go out there and I bump my gums or I do some crazy ass shit. Y'all see it right now. These motherfuckers out here talk all kind of shit until the shit gets down. And once the shit go down, they ain't even ready for it. That's what we're talking about. This is what he's teaching these men. You think you can fight, but let's see how good you are. Let me see how well you can counter a punch. You can take a punch. Can you give one? Let's see what your skills is. Just how these niggas be looking. But let's keep going. Because Andrew Tate is fighting 60 of these motherfuckers in one day. Look at the sky, y'all. This is in the morning time. Watch this shit.
Set up a little bit. I'm going to slow it down just a bit so you guys can see the actual pace. Guys, look out for this. What you see instantly is, kind of tap into the face and going a little bit harder to the body. That's one thing I do notice. That shows that obviously Andrew know his level of competition. He know who he facing. So he pouring it on just enough so that they can get the feel and understanding while going through this workout. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Tap, tap.
You, Mr. Pretty. Let's go. Bro, your six-pack isn't just for getting girls.
They have abs.
Gut punch.
What's the point? Let's go. Sit.
And he ain't even hit him hard.
So that's his brother, I think, Tristan, outside the ring talking
Yeah.
shit. The abs aren't just for women. Okay. So you can kind of tell when people have a little bit of boxing class in a background. But when I say a little bit, I mean
Them goddamn, hey man, them body punches ain't no joke, bro. Them body punches, and he's not even giving it his all. Oh shit. I did it again, y'all. Let's go.
They all are
He ain't even
working
giving
out,
it
as
his
you
all.
see in the background, and then they get in the ring one by one. Good body shot.
1 minute.
Body shot. He gassed. Body shots hurt. Listen to it. Hold on.
Niggas be talking that shit. I'm telling you right now. When you get in the ring with somebody, it humbles the fuck out of you, bro. It humbles the fuck out of you. It makes you learn how to move in this world. Look at this shit. He gave him a nice little body. And most of these motherfuckers go down with body shots, bro. He ain't even get them headshots.
Need y'all to hear him grunt when he gets hit with his body shot. All right, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. It's important that you you hear it. Body shots hurt, bro.
Come on, 9 back to stride. We're gonna start again. 10.
I love stuff like this, man. I think it's really, really good work. I think all men need to harden themselves, pause. You know, and regardless of what you think about the Tates or the Tates brothers, what they've been going through, when you take this in a silo and say, hey, let's make men tougher, make men great again, so to speak, I think this is really valuable, man, especially for the young men. I don't want to skip past them body shots. Let's make sure we watch them together.
The craziest part about what he's showing, man, is this is how we bond with each other. Women, y'all will never understand this shit right here. This is how men bond. This is how you will see the pecking order. This is how you understand how men recognize and respect one another. This is what it comes down to. Trust me when I tell you. Let's keep going.
Damn. So it is what it is, right?
6, last 5 seconds.
He getting hit with some shots. Definitely getting hit with some shots.
Swing back, last 5 seconds, go.
Nice.
Time.
Nice. Well done.
Good. Kept working.
He don't even know how bad he looked. And he don't care. Look at that shit. Look how that shit look. Niggas don't give a fuck when we out here trying to get to a purpose. These niggas now, they see a little bit of blood, they are faint. This is what gets us right here. This shit right here. This is men. And we don't do this around women and all that crazy ass shit, man. This is how you have to compartmentalize a lot of this shit. This is when we get to talking about men respect each other because we understand that there's a lower level of viciousness that occurs. At the last, I mean, this shit can be it to the end. That's why we don't be understanding why women will put their hat in the ring with dudes, jump up in niggas' faces and shit like that. Shit is real. Look, men and women, when it comes down to this shit right here, I guarantee we are totally different. Totally different. Let's keep going. You got a Carissa Shields. It's kind of like having a Michael Jordan in basketball. These are freak of natures. Carissa Shields is a freak of nature. She whooping ass because normally you won't have women, and it's some tough women out there now. Don't get it twisted. But at the level that she's at, there are men that can attest. This girl hit kind of hard. They have to be on their P's and Q's when they sparring with her and shit like that. These niggas is taking that shit serious. Ain't nobody just going around just pushing her ass. They got to punch her ass back. But she's a freak of nature. That's not every woman that's going out there right there. So that's why we can appreciate a Carissa Shields or any other woman that's out there. But naturally, we don't even like seeing women boxing and shit like that. But the ones that we do, we can respect it. It is what it is. Let's keep going.
Mike. Never knocked someone out with a leg punch before.
And keep in mind, this motherfucker done boxed about 10 motherfuckers already. He's boxing 60 men a day. That's probably number 10 right there. Let's keep going.
I'm a mean cunt.
He loved that left shovel hook for sure to the body. Okay, so I think this is also one of the coaches. He's fresh, obviously. Going 60 rounds with a bunch of dudes who's fresh, that's gonna be tough.
It's just wild.
That makes sense. While they, you know, how it's happening, how we able to go 60, you know, fight 60 different guys. But this guy has a little bit more skill, obviously, and he's a bit taller. You know, being 6'3", I think is, 10% of men. So you'd be surprised how Andrew be looking like he's something bigger than everybody else.
Guard the left side of your face. You're open. Okay, guard the left side of your face where you're wide open.
Carry his hands real low. That's good. In and out was good from Andrew. My opinion.
1 minute left. Get up.
So you see they all working in the background.
Get up.
Good 1-2. Dang. I like that 1-2. So when you get a 1-2, right? You usually see people throw 1-2 back to back. Boom, boom. Right? That 1-2 that Andrew.
Yeah, the rhythm. He's gonna talk about the rhythm, yeah.
Andrew threw.
I'm a southpaw, so I know exactly what Hemp was getting to when he said that shit too. Oh shit! Why do I keep doing that shit? Damn.
10 seconds.
You know,
Hold on.
even though he's taking it easy.
No, that
They got a
ain't.
nice little bout going here, man. Back to the guys who are in the boot camp.
So on the other one that he was doing, he was saying, and what he was gonna say is that the 1-2, for instance, when you boxing, and it's a rhythm that you have, and in the cadence of the boxing, it's 1-2. What old boy did was 1 waited, and then he hit him with the 2, and that throws you off because you know it's just how the cadence is. And one of the things that was good with me was that my cadence, the rhythm, it'll knock people off. For one, I'm left-handed. So the 1-2 will start out with my southpaw. And the reason why they would call it a southpaw is because normally this hand right here will always protect my stomach and my ribs. But because I'm left-handed, I'm standing a different way, and my right paw is in the soft part, and my soft paw is up north. That's why they would say that whole thing of southpaw. But let's keep going.
He don't know what he's doing.
It's all leveled, and this is the thing. This is a boot camp, y'all. It's more than just the physical part of it. It's the mental part of it. It's finances. It's all of this that they're giving these guys. This is just one aspect of it, right? This is why you got Andrew Tate, and I think his brother also was in there, but they were just showing Andrew Tate boxing 60 men. I don't give a fuck if them 60 men didn't have the skills in boxing. That's a lot of fucking people for us to be fighting in boxing, no matter how skilled we are. That shit can be taxing. That shows how, literally how strong this man is, for lack of term. But let's keep going. Let's go, Hemp.
Body shots. Boy.
Yeah, that nigga, that body shot.
Body shots. You guys saw the meme where it said men overrate their fighting prowess by 400%. You can see it.
400%. That's what I was saying earlier. 400%. Look at how my man is standing. Look at his feet. The way you can tell if someone is actually good at what they do in fighting because of how they punch, how they stand, the way that they look at you, the way that their shoulders are, all of that. This guy don't know what the fuck he's doing against Andrew Tate, but he got to get up there and he got to learn somehow, don't he? But listen to what Hampa's telling you.
Right here, it's obvious. We don't know what the hell we doing.
And that's the majority of us. Don't know what the fuck we doing when we get out here on that in there and we fighting. This is showing that shit right here. Niggas talk all that shit until somebody say, well, let's get your back dirty. Let's see what we gonna do. That's when niggas get quiet.
37 seconds. He's switching stances. Only the best people in the world can switch stances. But I'm glad they're doing it.
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Come on, baby boy. Make it through. Make it through. Man, this is pretty cool, man. So Andrew probably went against 20, 30 of them at least by now. So as you can see, he's slowed down a bit off.
It's getting nighttime. The night lights are on now. He ain't bullshitting. That shit is not easy, y'all. This is what concentration looks like. This is how dudes end up transforming themselves. I'm not talking about just doing the boxing and all that. This is how we end up transforming ourselves to be better men. We do something, we concentrate on it, and we become better. And we become better because there's a couple of times where we have to fail at it to understand what failure feels like. So we don't want to have to go back there no more. What they're doing right here, man, this is the ultimate thing of building a man. I'm trying to tell you. This is why the military is very good for us as men. If you ain't never marched 15 miles, 12 miles, 10 miles, you don't know what it is to feel pain. If you ain't never ran 6 to 10 miles up a hill, Fort Carson, Baton Rouge, 102 degrees, ruck marching, running. If you ain't Greco and you know what I'm saying, and boxed, every time you lose, you got to stay in the fucking ring. If you ain't sat there and shot 10,000 shots, 3-pointers, you ain't never shot 10,000 free throws. You ain't never did 100 suicides. You ain't swam 50 laps. These things make us better. It makes us better. It's not just the physical. You get past that. It's the mental. Makes you a better person. Let's keep going.
Also, it's super tiring, man. Do this when you get a chance. Go out and shadow box for like 1 minute. You know, just throw punches, move around, act like you're fighting somebody. If you got a mirror, do it in front of the mirror. At least you can see yourself to see where you're making mistakes. And see how winded you get if you don't do it often. I'm telling you, fighting, keeping your hands up is cardio-centric. If your cardio ain't there, you're going to know it in the first 30 seconds, man.
There we go.
Okay, so he got a little bit bigger guy in here. But as you can see, he don't know what he's doing, how he punching. Now, there's a thing to it, the fact that it's Andrew Tate, right? They look at him, you know, as the man, top G or whatever they call him, right? So do they hesitate? So you've seen a little bit of that with him, and he got put down by a body shot. Okay, so this guy, a little bit, looks like he knows a little bit more, at least how he's moving. how he throwing his punches. Let's see how he pans out. Let's see if Andrew turns it up on him because he has a little bit more understanding. Definitely tagging his ass. Here the guy pressing forward. Now, one thing I'm noticing, his shirt looks a little dry, so maybe it's they waited a little bit, so he got a little bit more energy. Okay, pushing forward, getting his ass kicked though.
That's it.
Put him down. Feint to the body. He feinted that left hook to the body that he always been throwing. So you see how they all standing around the ring? They all standing around the ring, so they all been watching. So you gotta expect that people are trying to prepare.
No doubt.
He gets in there, right? He probably been looking at people getting shovel hooked to death to that liver the whole time, and then he start pressing forward because he a little bit fresher because now you see they kind of standing around. So now it's just going one by one by one by one. And so I don't know if Andrew took exception with it or maybe because the guy was bigger, but whatever the case was, he put it on him. He feinted that left shovel hook to that body and put him down with a left hook to the head. So interesting.
Hey, bite down on that mouth guard. Don't leave it hanging out your mouth. Don't do that type of thing.
Finish.
50 rounds in the fucking desert, bro. Oh.
He's already at 50 rounds. He done fought 50 dudes. This is all in one day. It's all in one day. That shit's crazy. What made you look how he look? He like, what? I did it again. This ain't like the first time he's done some shit like this. He just like, I did it again. But he already said it at the beginning of his tape. If you heard him when he was actually kickboxing, I don't do this shit because I love doing it. Do it because I gotta do it. Makes me a better person. Makes me a better man. Makes me stronger. But let's keep going.
Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, it's fun. 24, 26.
50 rounds so far in the desert.
Some of your back touches the cage. Some of your back touches the cage. You're outraged. You gotta work on your way in.
So they've been out there all day.
Can't walk through the jab. Work on your way in.
Shit.
On your shield.
Hurt, boy. Bust that nose right open.
Damn.
Change the angle.
This gotta be the last round because he giving this nigga the business. He wasn't giving everybody else this. Look what he giving him. Let's go.
Bust his nose up. I wonder why. It looked like he going harder with him.
Because he may be more skilled. I think he saved him for the last. But that look, man, listen. That's how you get to be a solid ass cat that's out here, bro. Niggas say what they want to say. Motherfuckers respect each other when it comes down to that. We lose or draw. We give each other respect. Because you lost something, that ain't a reason why a man gonna sit back and tell you that you ain't shit because you lost. No, that ain't really, we respect you. When you get out there, that's why, one of the things my father told me, he said, as a kid, I remember the first time I got bullied. He said, win, lose, or draw, I guarantee when you finish fighting, that little boy he gonna realize he was in a fight and he ain't gonna fuck with you no more. That was one of the dopest things my father ever said to me. Because it's like that in life now. And it don't have to be physical. I'm strong-minded myself. I ended up having a dialect and a lexicon where I can express myself, where somebody actually understand where they stand at with me. And I didn't have to go to no goddamn counseling and sit down and express my feelings and all that crazy ass shit. These women out here trying to make us soft and shit. Be concise. Be the best person that you can actually be. Embrace where your failures are and make yourself better. This is the things that we have to learn as men. Get your confidence up. Speak with your head up. Sometimes you got to stick your chest out when you speak. Say it with your chest. That way you can be neutral and loving and all these different things. But let's keep going because there's something I want you guys to hear, a message that I want you guys to hear. And it's we about to get right there to it. Let's keep going.
So they foreshadowed it. In the beginning, the guy, when he was sitting in the ring and he shook his hand, that's him. I don't know if he went last or whatever the case was. Maybe he has more fighting prowess, but it looked like he poured it on him. And even though he was kind of doing arm punches, even with them uppercuts. An uppercut is an uppercut to the face, though. That shit gonna have impact just because of where it's coming from.
But that's the point. But that's the point. You go fucked up like a man.
You need to have something about you. You need to have chi. It's a power that people can feel. You don't need all the fancy shit. Doesn't mean anything. When the right man walks in the room, he could be broke as fuck. He'll take your bitch anyway. Because he's a predator. Dude, that's what's gonna make you happiest as a man. That's the actual truth. Just to fucking work, as rich as possible, as strong as possible. Maybe once every 2 weeks do something stupid. But I see since I've been on house arrest for 3 years, all you motherfuckers been enjoying yourselves. Training is this. Training sucks. You have to be anxious on your way to training. You have to hate it. You have to hate otherwise you're not training. You're pissing around. Most of you never trained before. It's your first ever training session. I did this twice a day, but for 10 years. That's why after all this 8-year retirement, I still beat the shit out of you.
Yo, listen, everybody got their things. People going through a whole lot of shit. I'm compartmentalizing what we just saw there, 60 men in that ring. They tired or not, doesn't matter, right? You spend a minute with each person, 60, that's 1 hour that you in there getting it popping, right? You getting punched, they get a good punch here and there, and you got to throw punches back. And it looked like he was still fresh even at the end. Now, it looked like it went from day to night, so I don't know how long of a time frame it is, but that's hard regardless. I don't give a shit. 60 minutes in the ring with people trying to punch you, evasive maneuvers, etc. It's tough as hell, man. And I think the key at the end there is, this is what I always say when I coach high school football. Don't cuss them if you don't love them. So at the very least, it looked like he shared some smiles, some advice, and really poured into them in terms of the messaging, right? So a couple things he said. Energy you exude in a room matters. When you come in, do you have a presence? That matters, right? He said another thing. Get as rich as you can. Do some dumb shit. Have fun. That's what that means. Every so often, once or twice a month or every couple months, but most of the time you focused, right? And then the key, get as strong as you can. Be as tough as you can. Be as dangerous as you can. And then learn how to control that man. I said it once and I'm gonna keep saying it every time we do videos like this. Whatever they calling toxic is bullshit. Be a man. I promise you. That means this. Tough as you can. Strong as you can. Amass as much wealth as you can. Love your family as hard as you can. Love your woman as hard as you can. Love the Most High as hard as you can. Predicate everything off the statutes and commandments that the Most High give us, and watch how much you can succeed after that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man.
I'm gonna have to definitely, Black Man, if you still on here, man, we definitely gonna have to tag Hamp on that right there. Salute to you, brother Hamp. Again, that was what I wanted you guys to understand. Men, you take this shit and you ride it till the wheels fall off. You be as strong as you can. Amass as much wealth as you can. Love as hard as you can. Love your family as hard as you can. You got a woman, love your woman as hard as you can. You do everything like he said, and this is what I heard him say, and I don't know if he got it from somebody else, but let me say, when you do anything, you do it like you do everything. I kind of fucked it up, but whatever, you know what I mean. It's just at a point right there where we got to start pushing ourselves to greatness, y'all. As men, we have to be the best that we can. We have to be the best that we can in all of this shit. Be as fit as you can. Let them know. It's nothing wrong with this right here, being a man. Let a motherfucker know that you can be as diplomatic as possible, right? But they also probably need to know that you'll knock their ass the fuck out too, right? The woman that you with, she should be able to respect you as such. Reason being that a lot of these women don't respect the man the way that they do is because the man does not require it. I was talking on a panel not too long ago now. One of the things I was talking about was that, you had somebody just said, well, why do these women treat us the way that we do? It's because you allow it. Simple. It's not easy. I mean, it's not hard. It's very easy. You got to require something. And you can command it. See, when you demand it, you just feel entitled. When you command it, nigga, it's the way you live your life. It's the way that you treat yourself. It's the way that you go by life. The balance that you would have is that you would have a woman that actually respects you and for being the man that you are, because you have what they call integrity. Women don't care shit about your loyalty, because loyalty has to do with them. Integrity has to do with the overall that includes them, the greater of good. I'm just saying, y'all, this is just my perspective. I ain't had nobody come on panel, get their perspective on there, but it is what it is. Today is Wednesday. We got Thursday, Friday, we got barbershop. And you also have my boy Freezy. He came through. He showed it, paid homage, man. Salute to Freezy. I think he is, let me look and see. I think Freezy is still on right now. You haven't seen my dude? Yeah. Today is VIP Wednesday. So Freezy is on VIP Wednesday right now. If you are a member to my man Freezy, hey, go over there, check him out. If you not, go over there and be a member. It don't cost that much to go over there and be a member to my homeboy. Tell him that your homeboy JT sent you over there. I'm telling you right now, you won't be disappointed. Freezy over there talking that real shit. I might show up myself over there and holler at my homie. But let me just, before I close this out here, man, tell you that what I was trying to get to, I don't know how great I got to it, was to let a lot of these women and men understand that we have to start making a change from what we see right now. We gotta head this dumb shit off right now. I subscribe 100% of men being men. I don't care if he's an asshole. I don't care whatever it is. But if he's a man that has integrity, he loves his family, he loves his friends, we ain't got to get along. I guarantee I can still respect him. But then again, there ain't too many people that I don't have enemies really. And if I do, I don't even know who the fuck you are, because I'm not in your AO anyway. And that's area operations for people that ain't really understanding what that means. But I'm just saying, we just have to, one by one, a little by little, day by day, just make ourselves better and share it with the ones that's closer to us. And then they'll do the same thing. Be 100 with each other, man. just try to be a little more solid. That takes, what I mean by that, the solid part is that you still got to have compassion, but you also got to be a person that has integrity. You have to be a person that have morals and values and things like that. And you're not going to veer on those things. And you find out how to mix all this shit up. And then you just teach and learn. And then you die. Shit. Do whatever you can. Be the best person that you can on this earth before it's too, I ain't gonna say it's too late, but before it's over with. Before you're not able to do it anymore. Because you can still be on this earth and you can be disabled. But while you have a high quality of life, utilize it. Help yourself so you can help others. Hey, man, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. I enjoyed talking, bumping my gums. Felt like in my earlier days of YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Got a chance to do the whole show, pretty much me bumping my gums, showing videos and shit like that. But I enjoyed it, man. I got it off my motherfucking chest. You know what I'm saying? So basically, I know a lot of y'all
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. When nigga slap fire out.
I know some of y'all was. The other ones was like,
oh, Lord.
Yeah. I understand. But some of y'all my homies. I ain't gonna even lie. Y'all my homies, so I already know y'all was saying.
Facts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm out this piece, man. I am what they call JT, James Terrell. This is what we know. Black Man Unfiltered. And we out this piece, man. Peace out, y'all.